Welcome everybody to the grand finals of season 3 in the Call of Duty Mobile Community Challenge ANZ. I am Kwan. I'm joined by Mao and Mendrix. Mendrix, take it away.
Thank you, Kwan. We're in the final stage of the tournament where we will see Mindfreak, IFM, XF, and Pride X Ivory battle it out in a double elimination bracket to decide which team stands above the rest and run away with that $3,000 reward, the highest share in a $9,000 prize pool. Let's jump straight into it. In production, come on, let's bring up the brackets. First up will be Mindfreak versus Pride X Ivory, followed by IFM versus XF, and then those teams knocked down to the losers bracket will close up the day. Now, Kwan, for 3 seasons, Mindfreak have been the benchmark for this competition. They seem to be werewolves that are just immune to silver bullets. Is there a way for these other teams to just bridge that competition gap?
Look, I think when it was season 1 and we saw them fresh, it was definitely that situation of Mindfreak proving why they were the squad that was picked up by Mindfreak, right? So, as a team, Mindfreak's been a better known organization from the region. They have been COD champions as well. So they've got a reputation in this community. And so when they selected these players, it said something about them. But season 1 was really the only chance we got to see them go face to face with other competition in our region in a tournament that was based in our region, right? Mm-hmm. Season 2, we really thought, okay, maybe the level playing field's going to start coming through, and Mindfreak just kept pace well ahead of everybody else. This season, though, we're starting to see the gap closing. XF and Pride X are using more strategies, things that we never saw them using in season 1 and 2, like they are now. Even to the point that in the interviews we did with IFM Natty and my darling last night, they both said, "Yep, we're seeing the player pool improving," and that's what I want to focus in on. If you want to take on Mindfreak, you've got to recognize that they've got a few things going for them that we can very quickly start to see how other teams can bridge that gap. They're friends. They formed as friends, so they play really well together. And that's about team synergy. So you want to take them on, you got to improve your team synergy. And a lot of that comes from when, you socialize outside of competition. Training's one thing, but spending time together and gelling better is another thing. Because then you start to, you become more in sync, and you subtly know what each other are going to do in the game without having to comms what you're going to do. The other one is practicing those strats. So going into effective daily or fortnightly or whatever you want to do as a scheduled training, that's the other one. Laying out a plan, utilizing a coordinated effort on the map. And then, I guess the last absolute thing is to verse better teams. And every time you can face up against Mindfreak, you're going to get better at fighting them and versing them. And so that's going to be the other one. So, take it to the field.
Oh, absolutely. And I guess it is that idea of, hey, do not underestimate the idea of team synergy. Player synergy is so important, and these other teams really need to take that into account. Take a leaf out of Mindfreak's book. That being said, Mal, we've seen an SMG dominant meta. I mean, the field has just been filled with them throughout this competition. But in the final weeks, we started to see a bit more diversity in the weapons. Do you think SMGs are falling out of favor, or will they still reign supreme?
Well, to the beginning of the tournament, we definitely did see an SMG-dominated meta, specifically with the QXR, the Bison, and the QQ9. However, recently we have seen adjustments to each weapons. We have seen a nerf to the QXR, so it has sort of fallen out of its spot as the number 1 SMG. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree that the Fennec has taken the spot as the number 1 SMG. We've also seen some ARs, such as the AEST Val, which I'm pretty sure most people will agree with me when I say it is the number 1 AR to use right now. We've also seen the AK-117 used quite a bit recently, specifically in OCE region. It's not really used anywhere else. And we've also seen DLQ and Locust be put into play more as SMGs become less viable to rush with. And we've also seen from some players the MK2 being put to use, which is very unexpected.
Well, speaking of unexpected, I'd be really glad to see that come to this competition going forward. I mean, I've just been seeing QXRs, Bisons, Annihilators, Sparrows pretty much throughout the entire competition. I personally would like something just a little bit different. And speaking of something a little bit different, we've got some graphics for you guys. Let's bring up the player stats, and we are definitely going to be looking at the first teams that we're going to be seeing today, which will be Mindfreak up against Pride X Ivory. I mean, looking at that there from Mindfreak, is there anything that sticks out to you guys for the stats?
Oh my God.
I think Riker's melee favorite weapon, and same with Dinka. No, look, I think my darling's always been a fan of the SMG. Every season it's PP19 Bison, right? So it's a solid platform to work with. QQ9 as well. That's a really solid platform for everyone to be working with, and same with the DLQ33. So nothing surprising here. They're playing it safe. I do think between Raker, Dinka, and Docker, we will see them actually deploy, more regular acceptable weapons than just melee, right? So, but these are the stats they provided us.
I mean, look, at the same time as well, there's a few maps there as well that are a little bit suspect. I mean, Saloon. I don't think I've ever seen Saloon play out through this competition. Mao, is that a special map of some kind? I believe it's a 1v1 map, isn't it?
Yeah, Saloon is a 1v1 map, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how you're going to do a 5v5 scrim on that.
It makes sense now that why Tokka's got such a low KD. I mean, if you're only killing one person every single time,
what he's really saying is he just wants to play 1v1s and none of these team games.
Exactly. It just shows itself its relevance there. I believe we still have the player stats for Pride X Ivory as well. So let's bring that up and have a quick look at that one. And again, a few things that might stand out here a little bit that seem a little bit odd, guys. What do you think?
Look, Pride X Ivory, this is what you can call a safe set of stats here, right?
Yeah.
DLQ33, AK117, QQ9s, like these are top, like these are the meta, right? These are the weapons that you safely can roll out with and know you're gonna have a good time. Frags are gonna come pretty easy. The game's gonna be very generous to you. One thing I wanna highlight is both Pride X Ivory and Mindfreak are all legendary players. They all have decent KDs, and they've all been playing pretty much from the beginning. So they've got the experience. They've played through all the changes of the game, every iteration, update after update. So they're all going to be pretty much at the top of the game, which is why we're seeing them in the finals, right? And my favorite player on Pride X Ivory is Waddy. So I can't wait to see him back in action and just see how he goes. So if Waddy's listening, please frag heavy for me.
Well, there you go. I mean, he set down the gauntlet. He has to perform now, especially when Quan is calling him out. So that's definitely coming into it. We also have to take a look at what they're playing on today as well. Let's bring up the map pool, have a look to see what's going to be happening. As we can see, there is going to be a Hardpoint standoff first. Search and Destroy Raid, Domination on Hackney Yard, Hardpoint for firing range, Search and Destroy Summit to finish it off. And of course, the bans will be Crossfire and Takeoff. Now, Mao, any particular reason why we're seeing these maps banned in Crossfire and Takeoff?
Well, Crossfire and Takeoff are definitely, when you put them against the other maps that have been selected, Standoff Raid, Hackney Yard, Firing Range Summit, these are definitely one of the lesser played, lesser favorited maps, so I can see why they've banned them for sure.
And I haven't really asked this question to you before, Quan, but do you have a favorite map yourself? I mean, this is the first time, this is your debut that we're going to be seeing you this time around. What's your favorite map?
Yeah. Look, I'm a big fan of Crossfire. I just find it gives me all the tactical options I want and because I like to change up as I play too. So if I want to go long range, short range, or whatever I want to do, Crossfire has that on the map, right? So, and then I also am a big fan of Raid as well.
Me personally as well, I really do like Crossfire. I think there's a lot that's coming into it in terms of, like you said, there's options to move it around the map. You can definitely play things a lot differently. And even in some places, there's a bit of a standoff that I find, especially on that B point, where if a team really just wants to lock it down, you basically are stuck trying to jump onto B, and to get through to A is really rough because that's the initial position that overlooks B. It just locks down the rest of the entire map. So really interested to see. I'm just trying to figure out, guys, do we have the other players ready to start off this competition?
Yeah.
No, we're actually going to be
why don't
waiting
we
a
have a
little
look
bit
at what
more.
they're playing for if we've got that production?
I mean, we've got it ready to go. We do have the price, but we've seen it before. Of course, that's a $3,000 prize there up the top, and then going down will be $2,000, $1,500 as the rankings go down from there. And still, even if you are, in the lower brackets in terms of this or the lower standings, you still walk away with something, which is what this competition is about: promoting the game, getting players out there, and having a good time. Another thing I'd really like to talk about is just the operator skills meta at the moment. Typically, we've been seeing purely just the Annihilator and the Sparrow. Have there been any other operator skills coming into it now?
Well, definitely the Annihilator is going to be the favorite weapon for most people when they're looking for an operator. However, we have seen a few variations. We have seen a Tempest, we've seen a War Machine, that's for sure. However, the Annihilator is still going to remain the king of operators.
No, fair enough there. I mean, I've been seeing that Annihilator come into the fray every single time, and it absolutely pops off when these players do manage to put it into their hands and pilot
From my
it up the field.
perspective, right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Annihilator, because it gives you that option to almost get a one-hit, one-kill when you land, when you charge it, land it. That's the strength of the Annihilator, right? You can quickly clear a path, one frag after the other, almost guaranteed, and that's why everyone's preferring that at the moment. Is that correct me if I'm wrong on that one?
Yes, definitely. It does have it is a one-shot kill. Also, it does have very good mobility for the one-shot kill potential, and also because it's an Annihilator, you don't even have to. How do you say? You don't even have to aim directly at them. As long as you aim around them, you will get the kill.
It's just a massive bullet. I guess that's why they call it the Annihilator. It just shoots out and clears everything in its path. The other thing is the score streaks as well.
So it does all the work for you.
Exactly.
So, very, very powerful. I mean, I do love seeing War Machines roll out and Goliaths and so on, but the Annihilator is if when I play, I defer to things like Annihilator over the big blow explosions of a War Machine and so on. So I can see why it's being preferred. I can see that, and I expect everybody to be rolling out with it. So
yeah, I mean, ease of execution, right, Juan? That's the big thing. I mean, score streaks as well, very typical. Predator missiles have been used across the map. Also, cluster strikes, fantastic for controlling zones. And of course, gravity spikes, or as you like to call them, earthquake sticks, I've heard.
Because they create an earthquake. So in my head, it's earthquake stick. It's just what it is in my head. The gravity spikes are very useful. Anything that's zones, right? So cluster strikes, zones. Gravity spikes, zones. But look, I think it's fascinating to see that people are going for Predators and hunter-killer drones at the moment because they're very specific. They take a bit of time, whereas like cluster strikes, you can pop it up, drop it on a zone of the map, and get back into the fight. When you have to use a Predator, it's one of those things where looks like we're going to get straight into the match. All right,
brilliant.
Hardpoint standoff is up. We'll transfer over to that in a moment.
Yeah, but I believe we do have a little bit of a countdown coming into it. And guys, this is going to be the first map of finals. Really happy to see Pride X Ivory going up against Mindfreak, and we'll be going away in just 1 second. Let's see how these guys jump into it, and I'm expecting the frags to come flying out very quickly here on this hardpoint. As you can see, the hardpoint's going to be spawning straight in the middle of the map. Mindfreak taking a little bit of a roundabout approach, looking for a little bit more of a pincer formation to come into it. And as we can see straight away, Mindfreak will be jumping onto that point to get control. Pride X Ivory a little bit slow on the mark to get in there.
That's right, and it looks like this is what we see from Mindfreak very aggressively. They get the site first, and what we'll start to see is they hold this, and the timer ticks down on it. They'll start moving to the next one. Factoring how many points they've collected. Now we do have a transference to Pride X. Well played to capture that and put some points on the board. This is going to close out pretty close with no real lead. Mindfreak's just transferred it back over. This is where all the intense action's happening at the start of a hardpoint, right? And this is what we love to see. And this is the zoning that we're starting to see. So Mindfreak's starting to try and clear out the Pride X players so that they've got more time on the hardpoint, which we love to see, right?
Yeah, definitely an ebb and flow at the moment, but Mindfreak ebbing a little bit harder when it comes into it. There's only 4 seconds left, or actually 2 seconds now as I count down on this map. We do have a hunter-killer drone out as well, just to clean up a little bit around the map, but Mindfreak's still well and truly in control of this, dominating very hard. As you can tell now, they've managed to get control of the map with a nice rotation, but Pride X Ivory have jumped in and basically pile drive directly onto this hardpoint. And as you can see, Oblongata's trying to hold that point, but will be dropped down in the end by My Darling, and Mindfreak moving in once again for control.
Absolutely. And so these, what I like to see here is teams like Pride X, when they get into a situation where Mindfreak's starting to dominate this, play for the next hard point and actually try and take full control there. But Mindfreak's already done that. And so this is just going to keep putting them on the back foot as those points clock up on the board. And we see Pride X just trying to find their footing here.
They do need to take advantage of it. Hey, Mindfreak are well and truly entrenched at this point. Now we've managed to finally break through. We can see Mindfreak's already beginning to have their eyes on the next prize, which is going to be that hard point, that opening up in the next 10 seconds. And they're beginning to spread out. But even with them beginning to spread out around the map, somehow they managed to come back in and get control. And of course, Pride X Ivory realized, hey, why are we getting the slivers? We should be getting the lion's share of these hard points. We need to move as well. But for some reason, you can see Mindfreak once again, Tokka, well and truly in control as hard point, has jumped in, and now Pride X Ivory are trying to file in a little bit late to the party once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're really fighting around house here, and that top level control gives you so much zone potential when you can look out over the approaches from the other team. Unfortunately, Pride X did have it at first, and Mindfreak have just got in here, locking it down, and it's going to be a big job for Pride X. You can see Perfect IQ just trying to pick up the stairs down the hallway, but both Riker and Tokka here just playing it safe, holding their zone and their sights. And here they come in, they're diving in and chill. Oh, unfortunately, they were able to take it back. But that was almost a full takedown of Pride X in one spray down with the crossfire that was set up there by Tokka and Riker.
I really love how Mindfreak stepped to defense on that, though. I mean, yes, it's fantastic Pride X Ivory managed to do it, but with just two members, basically, with one little peek on the side, one member continuously holding the door from that corner, it made it really rough for Pride X Ivory to get in there. Now we do see that they've managed to get some control back into it, holding on for the last 5 seconds. Mindfreak happy to let them have it because, of course, that new point is about to respawn and has popped into it, and already Mindfreak have a number of their members on that point ready to look into it, while a few are holding off that flank side to stop Pride X Ivory from coming in.
And that I was about to say, My Darling and Riker both had their Annihilators out, just ready to use them, but that Predator Strike by Perfect IQ just really reset that situation, giving Pride X a chance to really fight for this new hard point sitting down at Bakery. And so one thing that I can see here is that Mindfreak are definitely thinking further ahead, and it looks like Pride X are much more in the reaction right now. And that's the difference between what we see here when you've got a team like Mindfreak, who are just seasoned veterans playing lots of tournaments around the world, coming against teams like Pride X, who are really only learning as they verse people like Mindfreak.
You can really see the difference now, and of course that experience is starting to play through as well. Mindfreak now well and truly in a commanding position for this map. It feels like Pride X Ivory seem to be a little bit dispersed, unable to recollect what they need to do to jump in and once again do those fantastic pylons we've seen in the earlier stages of this round where they were able to get control. Mindfreak now are more than happy just to continue controlling Pride X Ivory around the map. As you can see, they don't even have members on the point just yet. And here we have 2 cluster strikes being called down to well and truly control the zone, and there's no way Pride X Ivory are getting on this.
Cleared out by that, ready for Mindfreak to just drop in on that. But that's a smart play. They're already ahead on the board. They're just trying to close this out and keep Pride X off the board. And this is the kind of thing you want to see when teams play some tactics here. Although Pride X has dropped their own cluster strike now, which will clear off Mindfreak some points on the board and give them some control. I think what we want to see now is Pride X starting to really cover their zones off, support each other a bit better, and not let, like what we just saw there, Tokka just coming in on the side there and just face womping. I can't remember who that was. It's just, those are the kind of leaks you don't want when you're holding on a hard point, especially in a situation where the points are just really stacking up against you. And it's going to get to that tipping point where they're just not going to be able to catch up.
Well, but the thing here, and I really want to point this out, is Pride X Ivory in the last 20 seconds have been controlling the point. Finally, now Mindfreak have jumped onto it. I guess maybe I threw a little bit of a caster curse in their direction, but there was really Pride X Ivory in full control, holding that spot, stopping Mindfreak from having control. And I think part of the reason was because Pride X Ivory were finally the ones with a little bit of an edge. They were the ones already moving to that next location. As you can see, they've also managed to put a few kill streaks down or score streaks down to hold this point. And now we're really looking to see if Mindfreak can get in. They're trying to maintain control. The Goliath has come in and completely cleaned out Mindfreak from that point. And Pride X Ivory are holding on.
Down was just throw a Goliath in the room, right?
Exactly. That's one way to go. I mean, look, it's a bit rough there because it's too big to actually pick down the window. So that's one of the rough things here. But finally, they've managed to actually get some really good control. And this score streak is doing work for Pride X Ivory.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know, the trouble with a Goliath is it's a big target, and in a small space like upstairs of house, you know, it's just going to take damage every second of the day. So you know, this is one of those desperate plays when you pull out a Goliath when there's only a few more points on the board, just to see what it can do, and it's well used. But Mind Freak, you can just see that they really are in this upper level, locking it down. You can't even get in there, and that's it. Done. Game is over in favor of Mind Freak. 150 on the board. Not too bad by Pride X, 98, but there's just you know, you can just see there's a bit more on the board for Mind Freak and how they roll out as a team and how they outplay and just pick apart a team like Pride X.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to their ability to stamp that control early. It doesn't matter if you do manage to have a late surge towards the end. If there has been such a commanding position beforehand and you're playing catch up, you do tend to have a few hesitation moments. The execution just doesn't happen to be there, and it makes it so much harder to close out that round and, of course, that map. That being said, that we will be moving now into the next round, and is going to be the search and destroy between these two teams. Now, Mao, you've been sitting there the entire time. You've been a bit silent, and that is because you've been really locking down what Mind Freak has been doing differently to be ahead of Pride X Ivory in this map.
Yeah, so what I definitely did realize is on the first hardpoint, when Pride X was able to get the first time on the hardpoint, what I did realize on the minimap was I could see Mind Freak pinching Pride X from every single angle possible, so that no matter where they would go, there would be someone there to kill them. So, and it's just the way that they utilize the operators in separate hardpoints as well, just to take over and just get those extra points and just keep dominating.
Yeah,
that's the exciting thing about watching Mind Freak, right? It's that they really have a good team cohesion. They know that they can. I mean, you know, whoever it is that they're sending, going, you know, go left, go right, wherever they're going. But you can just tell that they have this reliance on each other, knowing that they're going to lock down their part or what they're doing, and they can keep working with that strong team cohesion. And it's exciting to watch. You know, it's a lot of action in these hard points, where it's just frags going left, right, and center, and you've got to really sit back and say, but how is one team outfragging the other? Because in a match at this quality of play, you're going to see a higher level of tactics come out, and that's what Mind Freak had on display. Whereas I really feel like Pride X were on the back foot, constantly reacting, getting good frags. You know, they were fragging up just as well, but there was constant strategic situations where to hold the hard point and put points on the board, Pride X were completely torn apart and gave Mind Freak so much time. So,
well, you can really look at it as well. It really feels like Mind Freak are implementing the strategies and their weapons and the way they use their operator skills more as a precision instrument. We're looking at a scalpel, whereas when you look at Pride X Ivory, there seem to be more blunt force objects. I mean, take into account that Goliath. That was the one time they really had full control of the map, and it was very hard for Mind Freak to get in there. And it was that idea of them using force over precision. And don't get me wrong, you can definitely still win with blunt force objects in that particular way. It just means that your team's ability of having fantastic mechanics needs to be a little bit better than your opposition. And when it's on par, you need to really take into account, you know what, blunt force just isn't working this time around.
Yeah, there's timing as well. Like there was a whole moment there where we saw all of Mind Freak had pulled out their annihilators, and that gave them so much tactical advantage on the map. Where they were just able to keep dropping Pride X as they came to them. And the only reaction we saw from Perfect IQ was to drop a Predator Strike on them. And, it's timing everything together. You know, your score streaks, everything's got to come out as, for a purpose. And it's going to give you tactical advantage. And that was something that was really exciting that we got to watch there. So I'm thinking as we go into the next map, it's really now on to Pride X to say, okay, we just felt the full force of Mind Freak are here to play. They are here to win the money, right? They are here to win the title. They've got season 1, season 2 under the belt. They need season 3 so they can complete the trifecta for the year. And when you're faced up with a team like that, you've got to sit back and say, yep, we felt that. It's time to either mimic and say to each other, let's just do our best. You know, they could be pairing up and trying to pick apart Mind Freak, or just roll out with some kind of heavy, over the top strats, like maybe just go rush together all together down one side and just overwhelm. There could be a few things that come out there. They did that when they took house. I think it was on the third hardpoint.
Yeah,
they all rolled up the staircase straight down the corridor, and I was thinking, well, you got Riker and My Darling there in a crossfire, 2 SMGs. They're just going to drop them, and we're going to watch Fragfest happen. But because they all went down the one path, they were able to get those frags and take the hardpoint for a moment. So that's what we want to see. That's what we're watching. It is the ANZ COD Mobile Community Challenge of 2021. This is season 3. And we are watching the top 4 teams out of a pool that's been playing over the last 5 weeks. They're playing for a total of, all the teams are playing for a total of 10 grand. But in this case, for these teams, it's a pool of 9 grand. And so there's a lot on the line. And they are going to be crowned the best of the best for season 3 in the region, which, for everyone else that's watching in all the other regions, keep your eye on Mindfreak. And when pings are a level, and when it's done on LAN, like this is one of those teams you've got to be afraid of, on the world stage, and that's what I'm enjoying about this take.
Well, considering that, the world show or the world stage will continue for us here. We are going to be jumping now into the next map between Mindfreak and Pride X Ivory. As we can see here now, it's going to be that search and destroy. And let's see how these guys play it out. Now, what's good about this, of course, is that it does slow things down a bit. Mindfreak, again, are fantastically executing strategies across the board. But when you can take into account the advantages of being able to slow it down, play it a little bit differently into these search and destroy maps, doesn't mean that we will get to see perhaps a different result come out of it. And this might be that time that you can pull out strategies that are a little bit left field to actually surprise your opponent and put them off kilter. Now, Mal, I want to really refer to you on this one. As you can see, really slow here from Pride X Ivory to move out. Mindfreak have basically got full control of the map now. How does Pride X Ivory crack through this defense?
Yes, right now you can definitely see how they are playing slow, as they don't want to risk getting shot in the back. As you can see, if they did rush right now, Riker would be right there to take him out.
Oh, he's so well positioned, and I actually want to see that happen. But unfortunately, Perfect IQ does drop him and clears out that danger. But we do have, who's that? We've got, it looks like My Darling and Supreme just all over. Perfect IQ coming in from behind with a double frag by My Darling, taking down Havoc on the second frag there. It is just so painful how fast My Darling can move around on this map. And I love to see him, on his SMGs like that, leaving it to a 1v3 situation where Perfect IQ has all the pressure on him to pick apart this stellar performance by Mindfreak.
And the other thing as well, he doesn't have the bomb, and My Darling once again will be the one to basically put his team on his back shine in this first round against Pride X Ivory. And it was looking good for Pride X Ivory. So they actually managed to take a bit of a quick lead when they made that play. I liked how they decided to just leave a little bit behind before they made their rush. Basically make Mindfreak going, what are these guys doing? Are they all AFK at the moment in time? And then the rush came. And Mindfreak, though, so quick, especially with My Darling, to basically run around the map, be consistent with the kills, and execute basically the whole of Pride X Ivory on the lone.
Looks like My Darling's getting in behind again as we see him down by the Lambo laundry, pulling up into.
Oh, this time around, he's not going to be able to take advantage of that flank.
Sent home by the carbine.
Here we go. Never mind. Chill, though, has no chill, has decided to get through, get 2 kills directly afterwards. Dominic as well as Perfect IQ will go down. Now it's going to be a 2-on-1 scenario for Pride X Ivory, who managed to get the advantage, but very quickly lost it. And now things are looking a bit rough because they don't have access to the bomb. They need to make their way and open themselves up to actually collect that. But as we can see here, Riker will be able to find Havoc. Avangado, those managed to find Chill and Supreme, and it's a 1-on-1.
Yeah, 1-on-1 situation, and we get the drop shot by Riker and a quick slide to finish it off. That is what you want to see from some movement there. That is so hard to pull off on a mobile phone. I can tell you now that I struggle with that with my thing. And that is so impressive to see how quick that reaction was, and that really settled that 1v1 situation there.
I'm going to just put it out there right now. I can't even slide. I look to slide. I just slide off the map.
You can't say that.
To be honest, it's just like, where are you going, Mendrix? I don't know. I'm out of here at this point. That being said, that we are moving now into the third round. Mindfreak well and truly up in the lead now. And it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade. My Darling finding Cayenne. So we're going to tip around the corner here. But Mindfreak managed to take it out. But once again, even though Pride X Ivory managed to find more members with an advantage, that advantage is short-lived and Mindfreak bring it back.
Yeah, 2v3 situation right now, and watching Dominic just trying to find some angles here. He knows that he's seen some Mind Freak players there. He's heard them there. He knows he's got to keep an eye out for them. And oh, look at this. We've got a Carbine up on Supreme there, just trying to get some space out from the top. Sorry, Obligata. Obligate?
Obligata? I think Obligata. There you go.
That's like
Mundula, you know, that like thing.
You know, is when we look at
Water boy, you know, like Mundula Oblongata, like that. That sort of thing there, Adam Sandler's way that he likes to pronounce it. So, I mean, things have slowed down again. At least the big advantage for Pride X Ivory, in comparison to all the other situations, they've got the bomb. They don't have to put themselves out to grab anything. Nice little shot there. We'll get the hit marker and put unfortunately one of the members down for Mind Freak a little bit too low. So he's going to have to back away. But some quick shots coming from Chill will find the return and actually bring Pride X down to 1. Yeah, it's going to be rough. Obligado is doing it, nope, but he will reveal himself in the process of finding a kill. And Mind Freak once again up 3-0. And now, how do Pride X Ivory turn this around?
Well, definitely what they're going to have to do is get those initial picks with the sniper, especially. Because right now, what Mind Freak is doing is they're getting that early player advantage, which puts them like just in a massive lead.
Well, flipping it back around now, you can see once again Pride X Ivory as a unit moving towards that A site. Cayenne will find Mind Dialing, and we're seeing again Pride X Ivory with a bit of an advantage. Mind Freak, let's see if they manage to pull off the same thing that they normally do and bring it back, and they have. They've evened up 4-4. Dinka managing to get Dominique.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chill's just clearing out the back to see if there's any rotates here. And he's going to be communicating that forward. So now Mind Freak's going to know that it's really all about, we know Oblongatas are on the back of them, and if they can clear them out, done, which they have, they now know the whole Pride X Ivory squad is now an A, and they're just going to encircle them and start to pick them apart. And it's really down to Pride X Ivory to hold this position. Perfect IQ goes down. The bomb is about to be defused. It is done and said. And that's a really good move by Mind Freak. They had 3 players just encircling while one was trying to figure out where Omagata had gone to. Once they dropped him, they knew they could just rotate straight onto A and clear it out.
I love how, as you're calling it, it seemed to be like a crystal ball. Everything happening in the prediction afterwards. As soon as they realized they didn't have to worry about their backs, they immediately turned their attention to their front, swarmed Pride X Ivory, and took a very quick, very easy win in this particular round. Now we're up 4-0 for Mind Freak. Mind Freak again up a round as well in the previous map, managing to take out that hard point. As we can see here, Oblongata is trying to get through, get a few shots, but My Darling was just so quick. Immediately taken off the road. Another gravity spike being thrown out as well. Perfect IQ slides through, but is greeted immediately. But as you can see, that's going to be a trade between both these teams. The bomb is being planted by Pride X Ivory for the time being, and that at least means that Mind Freak are forced into position and actually forced out of their current positions of defending and seeing if they can bring it back.
Putting pressure on here, right? As you can see, Riker's about to dive in, and we've got Supreme just making his way around to come up the back from, to open up some space and put some pressure on them. And this is what it's all about. Just put pressure on one side, get the other team to keep taking cover until you can get your teammates around to open up some space from behind. And in this 1v1 situation that's left of us, it is all down to Chill, who's going to finish off Kane with the SMG there. And defuse and call it another round. That was actually pretty close for Pride X. That was actually pretty close.
I feel there have been very close rounds for Pride X most times through, but the experience from Mind Freak being able to actually jump into these clutch positions when it is a one-on-one, one-on-two, and just holding their ground, just not really hesitating the scenario. And I feel like that's something that's been edging them out every single time in this competition, especially today, where Pride X Ivory is really showing us some good signs of life against them.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, This is the variety that we're seeing from a team like Mind Freak. You've got a couple of players who are very aggressive, like My Darling, and they're good. They really get the other team out of position. And then you got a couple of players who take it a bit slower and sit back. It gives them variety. It means that Pride X has to work really hard, and they are getting wiped out right now, down to one player left, which is Havoc, who's got to face the full 5-man squad that is Mind Freak in the last point of this standoff. This is all on him, and he can't get the hits. He is down and out, sent home, packing 6-0 in favor of Mind Freak. Bad luck to Pride X Ivory on that one.
Yeah, you really do have to feel as well a little bit bad in that scenario, because he was just getting hit marker after hit marker there. He's thinking, if I just take one of them down, if I can just take 2 of them down, maybe there's a chance. But he wasn't able to find any kills towards the end there. And of course, that means Pride X Ivory are treating this like it's another day in the office. They've walked in, coffee cup in hand, they've sat down, they're reading their emails, they realize that they're the top performers for the month, they're getting the bonus from their boss. So much is happening at the moment. Mao, can you break down why it just seems to be so easy for Mindfreak in that particular search and destroy?
Well, what I did realize is that Mindfreak, they definitely know how to counter the opponents straight away. As soon as I saw Pride go to the A side, I immediately saw Mindfreak wrapping around, pinching them from both angles, both the stairs and the entry. So, and which just puts them in such a terrible position, because when you've got to watch two sides, it's just so much more harder than just a single one. And also in that 1v1 situation that you also did see, it just shows that how superior the gun skill is. They're able to clutch out those 1v1s without really any sweat.
Well, the next map is definitely going to be a domination round coming into it. So that means that we do get to see Mindfreak take advantage of their quick movements, their ability to have that diversified skill set around it. Kwan, how do you feel this is going to play out now, considering Pride X Ivory are behind the 8 ball? It's pretty rough for them against it. They've already,
right? Domination sometimes can be a good level playing field for, because Hardpoint and Search and Destroy do take a bit more strategy. You're thinking a step ahead. Whereas Domination, it's zone control. So fragging heavier can work in your favor. So I want to see. I'm a big fan of underdogs, right? I'm a big fan of seeing the other teams do well and not always the best. Just keep wiping the floor. Teams can step up between map to map, right? And so maybe we see Pride X just come out of the gate with this one saying, well, we know that we're trying some things and it wasn't really working out, and they're going to pull out something we're going to see really well. But they were going with some interesting weapons last map. If you're comfortable with the weapon you want to use the weapon. That's what I say. If you like it, you like it, right? And you're gonna perform the best of what you're comfortable with. But some weapons just underperform in situations, and we did see that. You might get 1 or 2 frags and feel rewarded, but for the overall progress of the map, especially in competition, it may not work for you. So that's something that we're definitely I want to see in this third map. Pride X maybe stick to a better mix of weapons, more reliable, and maybe that's going to work for them as well, where they can start fragging up a bit heavier and reliably as well, because you want to see hit markers do the damage that you want to come out, right?
Absolutely. And another thing to take into account there is we have seen Pride X Ivory be amazing at pulling off those frags. And when that does mean it is about that zone control, especially with the fact that on one side, you can actually get a little bit of an advantage in the sense that you can get control of 2 zones very quickly. You can use that to slingshot yourself to a decent advantage and perhaps hold that into the next round as well. So there are definitely options for the underdogs to definitely just put implement a few strategies to put Mindfreak off kilter and take the win. Is that seen as a possibility for you, Mao, or do you reckon, Mindfreak have got this? It's in the bag. They should begin, chilling out a little bit, grab themselves a coffee and sit back.
Yeah, I reckon Mindfreak definitely have this in the bag, as we've just seen domination from the last 2 games so far. Honestly, I don't reckon they should be relaxing right now. They've still got 1 more game to win, I reckon they should just go hard all out this last game and just take it home.
No mercy at all. It's all about just completely demolishing the competition. These guys, they do like to have a little fun when they send us their player stats, but that being said, when they get into the office, it's all business, and you can see it the way that they play every single time. Now, we go to that next set. Kwan, you really did give us a bit of good insight in that idea of fragging, controlling zones for domination. Is there anything in particular in terms of what site you think that you'd like for them to particularly control, or just make sure you get your A and your C, and then that way rush towards that B? It just works every time.
It's a hard one, right? You got to feel out the match as it plays out, because B is always B is the first one you can test. Personally, if I find B too hard, like the other team's really got their teeth into it, you just want to hold them there and work C. You really want to send a couple operators around the back, and start breaking out C, because if you can lock down enough of the other team on B to find an opening on C and you grab C, that's going to give you B. That's just going to open B right up. So it's a hard one, because you got to really feel. I find domination like a tug of war match. One team's pulling on, pushing on or putting pressure on certain points of the map, and the other team's got to be saying, well, how long can we hold this pressure but figure out another bit of footing to, to relieve that pressure, right? So yeah, it's a tough one. I wouldn't say there's any real rule of thumb to it. It's you feel what the other team's holding really well, and you've got to quickly react. If you can't break it, play the other point, right?
Well, with that being said, I believe the teams are ready to jump into it as well. And if it is going to be a tug of war, I can't wait to see how these teams do tug it out. I mean, it's going to be pretty rough to see. Now we can see it's going to be what might be the final round here for Pride X Ivory up against Mindfreak. Mindfreak up 2-0. Will they be able to close out this round and progress into the next stage? Or will Pride X Ivory keep their hopes alive remaining in the winner's bracket and manage to upset Mindfreak in this final map? They're jumping into it straight away, and it is going to be, as you can see, the target 75 between the two of it. And both these teams definitely not forgetting A or C.
Oh, a quick frag by Kane there. First on the board. Dropping chill there. Great smoke frag by Dominic. Gets taken out by Supreme in a trade-off. This is the kind of action that's we're going to see a lot more of in a map like Domination. It's just frag after frag, concentrating off. Raker picking up to himself there, taking out Dominic and Obligata. That's an ass Val. That's a really strong weapon in this current meta. And there it is again. So we're seeing that Mindfreak are really opting for what's going to be working in their favor. And that's what I was talking about with weapons. You're going into a frag-heavy situation. Go for the weapons that are going to reward you really well for the effort you put in. This is just what, when you think about the fact that Mindfreak have all points while they just lost A, this is what's going to reward you, right?
We can see that, like you said, they had a 3-cap very temporarily. Pride X Ivory fighting back. Total domination right off the back here. As you can see, we will have a turret put down to control at that point, but of course, one of the members will be taking them out. Riker's rolling on through. It does have that Asval in hand again. He's trying to find a way to get back into this map, and it does seem that for the time being, with a Predator missile coming down, we'll get a few kills for that. That's actually 3 kills I feel off that Predator missile. That was pretty good.
Not very rewarding, right? The whole time, Obligata was tied up launching that, and he got 1 frag. He could have run into a site and did a bit more of provided a bit more value to the effort. Well, all right, so we've got Mindfreak just contesting B, holding it off from Pride X's F to take it, and a great double frag from Dinka. Can he get the 30? Can't, unfortunately. Getting dropped by Obligata in that trade-off. Raker just moving around. Oh, we're back onto Supreme, who's in a great position to hold down B, but he can't. He gets taken from Oblongata. That might open up B completely for Pride X. They're about to trade it. They do. That's 2 points up on the board for Pride X, and that might help them close this gap. Currently sitting at 30-52.
Yeah, and again, the big thing here is, of course, trying to get to that 75 target with a decent lead under tow. And Pride X Ivory beginning to fight back is excellent here. Finally, though, we do get to see Chill jumping in. He's now going to be taking control of the map. He's using the van for a little bit of cover here with some gravity spikes for good measure. And he's going to be able to take that point back with relatively no contestation. And he's just doing so well cleaning everything up, but eventually will be taken out by Dinka. Now, Dinka here, as you can see, is making the move around the meta. Actually, Riker, Cayenne will be able to find the kills, and Pride X Ivory managed to jump back onto B, take control, and they're saying, you know what, we're not giving this up without a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Mindfreak did really well there, coming from the bottom and also from balcony, just really opening up that space. And here's an Annihilator out. 1 frag, 2 frags on the Annihilator, 3 frags on the Annihilator. This is what you want to see when you pull out an Annihilator. Just quick, easy, frag after frag. Can't get that 4th one with that slide dash, but eventually, very, very effective use. Very, very effective use of Annihilator, and that's why it's the current meta.
As you can see here, now we are managing to get to that final 75 marker, which means the teams will swap sides there. And the use of the Annihilator here is just doing so much work for Mindfreak. You can tell it lets them clear the path, opens it up. Now let us know, what's Mindfreak doing that's just allowing them to frag so much better and maintain control of these points.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of back and forth with the B flags so far. However, as it's always been, as soon as Pride X Ivory are able to capture the B flag, it's almost always Mindfreak straight onto it, attacking it straight away.
So basically just no respite here for as well. So Eyeliner now back up here for My Darling. I feel like they've been just tricked doing it. He gets 3 kills, 4 kills directly afterwards. My Darling, you are a monster.
There's a 1-man killing machine there, just holding down B there in cargo. So what are you gonna do when someone like, oh my gosh, this is
Raker's turn now.
This is Annihilator Fest at this point.
Cayenne will turn the corner and unfortunately catch him off guard here, but another Annihilator will be finding an extra kill off the back of it. Dinka gets Cayenne. More is going to be happening around the way. Dinka now just going to be holding down this line here. Nice slide comes on through, but unfortunately he's not going to be able to find the edge of it as well. Cayenne, though, will be able to come in through and clear out most of the members, and that will stop the 3 cap from coming through for Mindfreak.
Yeah, my darling putting in so much work. He needs a medal or a break, either one. He's just really locking down the warehouse A all by himself.
Well, moving very quick now to that 150 marker where Mindfreak will take the win. Project Ivory still fighting back, holding at least 1 point at this point. I think they're doing actually a bit of a double attack at the moment, trying to get both C and B at the same time, but was shut down relatively quickly. My Darling continuing to hold this B site will, of course, be putting down a cluster strike for good of measure, and that's going to well and truly control the entrance into the warehouse.
So My Darling's opted for a Holger 26, right? So now this is just getting a bit insulting. He's just going to have so much ammo to spray down, and he's been so effective with the spray downs to date. All right, as we watch PrideX just really trying to break out another site here. We've got a good frag from Dominique from balcony into back of around phone booth there. But Supreme trading out to balcony spot, and oh no, he did it. He got him. He really surprised him in there. I thought Dominique was going to fumble that, but busted. So Mindfreak rolled in with 3 to recapture the spot and not give PrideX any points on the board.
Yeah, PrideX will manage to have 2. The advantage very short, though. It's going to be short-lived in this sense, and Mindfreak now back up to 2 markers on the point. As we can see here, we're going to be watching Supreme once again, just continuing to mow down members left and right. Annihilator now out and show will get the kill into Perfect IQ, turning the corner here as well. We'll find Dominique as well, and Supreme, he's the new monster on that. We'll pull out the Predator missile, get 2 kills for it as well, and now Supreme, he's literally showing everyone why he's the man on the mark. That was a really
heavy fragger, right? We love watching Supreme get some heavy frag as he tussles this one. He's going to drop a sentry there. The PP19 really proving such a powerful platform there. Lots of effective spray downs, good damage output, very stable recoil. So reliable for these fast action environments. Kane dropping 2 there, though, with the Fennec getting Supreme and Dinka down, opening up B site. Hopefully, if he can take down this sentry gun, they might be able to cap.
Doesn't look like that's going to be the case here. And I mean, really, at that point, like last 10 seconds, we needed Mindfreak to actually lose out 3 points there. PrideX already had to go for the 3 cap and get the total annihilation if they were going to be able to come back into this round. But Mindfreak will be taking it away in that 3-0 sweep. To be honest, this is what we expected. I mean, you were talking about it earlier. They just seem to have Quan this ability to be ahead of the rest of the teams, and it all comes down to their preparation coming into the map.
Yeah, look, that was the same kind of gap we've been seeing to date with the way Mindfreak has been outplaying other teams, right? That was a better performance by PrideX, and it was because of the frag heavy nature of Domination. I think that was working in their favor. But again, tactically speaking, Mindfreak was really on top of their comms. They knew when they had a site lockdown. They knew that other team members could be moving around to just focus on PrideX, and we kept seeing that. It was I think almost like 90% of the screen time was watching Mindfreak lockdown A or lockdown B. Didn't really have to worry about A too much. And we were just watching the players like Supreme just out in the open, just keeping PrideX on respawn timers. So, that's pretty effective comms to know you can reliably be doing that, and you're really outplaying the other team. I think PrideX has played really, really well, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, look, they were keeping pace. They didn't get much on the board that we would have wanted to see, especially in Search and Destroy. But that's a pretty top performance for coming up against a team like Mindfreak, who are the back-to-back season champions. And
the thing to take into account here is that it really is a score that doesn't reflect the performance. That's something we need to take into account. So that being said, though, guys, we're going to be bringing up the schedule here. As we can see here, Mindfreak versus PrideX Ivory have just completed their games. Next up will be IFM versus XF. And again, as we mentioned before, we'll be closing out the day with that lower round bracket. With that being said, Mal, is there anything you want to add out before we go to add in before we go to a quick break?
Not really, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate how amazing Mindfreak is and how they've always been able to dominate the competitive scene for Oceania.
Absolutely. And, they are just such a solid team. I actually can't wait to have them go overseas and rep us against the other regions. Like for everyone watching, I'm calling out all the regions, right? I want to see, a really strong live COD Mobile event where we get Mind Freak an opportunity to just roll face, and that's what I want to see.
Well, I too also want to see that, but of course we still have to get through the rest of this tournament, and we'll be moving to a quick break, so please do not go anywhere. We'll have more Call of Duty Mobile action coming up very shortly. And we have returned to the Activision's Call of Duty Mobile Community Challenge presented by AEL. For the audience out there, this is the ANZ region, and we just saw Mindfreak take out Pride X Ivory in a 3-0 sweep. Now, pretty good stuff there across the board, but of course, there's still other teams that we need to take into account and look at today, and we still have to look at IFM and XF as well. Now, guys, what do you feel about IFM versus XF? I reckon it's going to be a bit more of a strong competition between these two teams. I'd love to see it go to 5 maps.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's the finals. So these players, these teams have all earned their way to be here, right? And there's a big prize pool on the line. So I think, I think IFM and XF might be closer to each other than we would have seen with Mindfreak and Pride X Ivory. IFM aren't exactly playing. I mean, they lost one of their star players who has been one of my favorites from season 1 and 2, which was Rezi. So, I think they're slightly weaker than we would expect from season 2 and 1. And then teams like XF and Pride X Ivory have been stepping up, right? So I think it's going to be much closer. I think we're going to have a really, really good set of maps in front of us to watch where it might be a better tussle.
Exactly, and that's what we want to see. Mal, is anything that you want to talk about to the player styles, the team styles that we've seen so far throughout the tournament for XF and IFM?
Well, I definitely reckon this is going to be a very interesting fight. Number 2 and 3 on the ladder so far for the qualifying stage. So it's going to be a close fight, I personally reckon. Maybe even a 3-2 with a tiebreaker round.
Well, we are still waiting for the players to finalize their maps picks. We can tell you right now that IFM has banned Takeoff and XF has banned Crossfire, and pretty similar map bans from the last one as well. So we can probably see most of these teams realizing that maybe these particular maps have been figured out, and we want to actually have a little bit more versatility, a little bit more variety with the different maps that we are seeing throughout this competition so far. And I think the maps are ready. Let's have a quick look at the map pool so we can jump straight into it. And then let's have a look here. As we can see here, we do have Hardpoint Takeoff starting off the day, or not really starting off the day, starting off this particular round. Search and Destroy on Summit, then Domination Raid, Hardpoint as well, the next one, and then Search and Destroy directly afterwards. And as we said before, the bans will be Takeoff and Crossfire. So pretty excited to see how this plays out. Hopefully we do get to see Hackney Yard in firing range in that last particular map round.
Yeah, so just a correction on the graphic on screen. The first hard point should be standoff. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, that's right. So it will be standoff up front, which is a great one to pick, to go with at first. So look, I think what we're going to see here is when we see IFM and XF get into a map like standoff, what we were seeing with Mindfreak, how we saw, and as Mal aptly described it, a bit more pincer type movements. I have a feeling like IFM and both XF are going to be doing that to each other, and that's what's going to make this so interesting, where you see a bit more of an even tussle for those hard points. Both are going to be having players prepping for the next hard point quite effectively, and while still playing for the current one. It's exciting. I can't wait to get into it when the players are ready.
Well, I mean, the other thing to take into account, it does mean that we're going to have a much slower start than we had before. We could see that Pride X Ivory loves to just run in, guns blazing, get the charge in there, make sure it's all good, and then Mindfreak were able to take advantage of that pincer maneuver. Now, of course, both these teams are trying to do the same strategy. One of these teams is going to have to come out on top, and it has to be from one specific weak length. And when I have looked at the way XF and IFM play, they don't really have any specific weak lengths on the team. So it really is going to have to be someone going above and beyond in their performance in order to actually find that weakness. Right? Exactly. I mean, let's take into account. We do have the player stats here. Let's have a look at what's going to be out there as well and what these teams bring to the table. First up, though, is going to be Team XF, which, of course, is going to be fielded by LK, Josh the Pro, Reesings, Piplet, Moogie, Manda, and Depressed. And I think we have a few things there as well that seem to be a little bit out of the ordinary. Guys, break it down for me.
Josh the Pro's favorite weapon is the trip mine. If he doesn't use or her, if they don't use the trip mine at any point during these matches, I'm going to be very upset. I want to see them get a frag of the trip mine.
I mean, that'd be good. I mean, it's going to be crazy to see if it comes across. I mean, I'm looking at Reesing's KDA.
Hardpoint, who knows? It could actually come into just lock down a hallway or something with it.
I need to refer to you on this one, Mal. Look at that KD for Reesings, because this is just the player KD in general for the game. 4.27. How does someone get that?
I honestly have no clue.
Sniper rifle.
Sniper rifle
Marksman
the
rifle.
entire time. He's just sitting
Use the
back.
car 9. You'll be doing just great.
I just wanted a way to do it. This guy is playing safe and taking names. That's essentially what's happening there.
Absolutely.
I mean, looking at that, everything else seems pretty standard across the board there. But I mean, I love how these stats come into it. We still have to look at the IFM player stats as well. Let's have a look there. What these guys are bringing to the table. Of course, we've got DX Anger, Fiend, Mad Max, Natty, the Fighter, and Elizabeth. And a lot of them pretty straightforward across the board there. A lot of them just saying, hey, QQ9s, QQ9s, this is what I like to see. Anything out of the ordinary floating around for you guys there?
Well, I think the one thing to point out is Elizabeth replaces Resi, right? So,
Yeah.
I haven't seen Elizabeth play too much. So, there's a huge X factor here for IFM with that change. But the ones for me to watch is Danger. Always got to keep eyes on Danger. The Fighter is the big fragger for IFM usually. And one thing I recognized in season 2 and 1 was other teams learnt to just try and shut down the Fighter. Otherwise, he gets a bit of momentum and starts fragging up. And we're going to see the shot calls coming from Natty. So I'm not going to expect big frags from Natty, but you'll notice that he's the team captain holding it together, right? So. Otherwise, they're all season 1/beta vets. The Fiend is the most fresh player on the roster. The same thing for XF, right? So they're all pretty much season 1 vets, except I can't remember who was the season 5 player, but they've got a similar level of experience, similar frag rates, similar ranks. It's pretty even for number 2 and 3.
Yeah, definitely something that's going to be interesting to see is that idea of the short callers not perhaps performing to the same level as the rest of the players, because of course their focus is more on that strategy. I really want to take that into account for Natty, and I think this is an interesting point that I love to think that I like happening across the games, is that typically the shot callers tend to die first because they're not focusing 100% on what's happening to them. But the advantage of dying first does mean that you can just on focus on what's going to be the correct shot call directly afterwards. And I think that's something that maybe we might see throughout the tournament, like a little bit of rushing. I'm happy to be the sacrificial lamb on the Search and Destroy as I rush in, purely because it does mean directly afterwards we can focus on the shot calls directly afterwards. I can intake the information coming from my team members. And I think that's something I'll be really interested to see if perhaps Natty will be that first player rushing in the Search and Destroy in that second map.
Mal, how much have you seen of IFM? Because IFM have been around the traps, right? They've played in a few of the tournaments around India and so on. So how much have you seen of them in action?
Well, I've definitely seen them around, not personally like actually watching them, but I have seen the performance results in tournaments, and they've definitely become one of the teams to beat for sure. So if XF is able to take out this win, that's a very good accomplishment for them.
Absolutely. I mean, I really hope that at least in this, in this finals, we get a few upsets, right? So maybe we won't see Mind Freak in the champion spot. Maybe we see someone like XF, and if XF can, this is a bracket, right? It's a 2-day bracket. We're in the playoffs. If XF take out IFM now, knock them down to the lower bracket, they're going to be feeling pretty good about tomorrow, and that might be enough momentum to get them to the spot. I know that IFM, they have been a long-term team similar to Mindfreak. Their teams, average a bit older as well, so they've got a more experience under the belt. I think that's going to be playing in their favor well, but also, they might be burning out a bit. They might be burning out, so that gives a lot of opportunity for someone like XF to just take that champion spot.
Well, I believe we do have the teams pretty much ready to roll, so hopefully we'll be jumping into this map straight away, and we'll get to see perhaps, is there going to be a bit of player burnout there? Is the other team, XF, going to be a little bit more hungry than IFM, or will that experience come into play and be enough for them to take away the win? I think, again, it's going to be an extremely competitive match between both these players and all of these players and both these teams. I really want to take into account here, I think experience probably will come out on top, and I'm probably putting my bets on IFM. You know what? I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I want to see you guys do it too. Who do you think's going to win this round? Come on. I'm going to go to you, Kwan, first. Oh, wait. Yep.
Right. Personally, I feel like it's going to be IFM just because of the consistent dominance in all of what I've seen since basically competitive OC has been a thing.
Oh, there you go, Kwan. What do you reckon?
Yeah, look, IFM, but I'm an underdog fan, so I want to see XF do something special here. So we're not going to see Elizabeth today. We're going to see IFM with a more core lineup, which is I guess them playing it safe. You know, when there's money on the line, play it safe.
Absolutely, and now we're going to be jumping straight into it as well. We are going to see Gravity Spike come out. Nice quick kills there coming across there from IFM. That's well and truly going to secure the point for them. And XF now are scrambling to get back around, regroup, reposition, and see if they can force their way through.
Yeah, that's right. And you did have coming from hotel window there, XF just trying to put some pressure on them. But right now, IFM are holding some very, very good spots to keep it locked down.
Well, definitely a stand up for the moment, but XF have managed to pile right on in, regain control of the point. IFM now regrouping as well, just towards the side here, now beginning their rush to jump in as well. And it is a bit of a massacre coming across, but XF still maintain the point strong, having that extra advantage you can see from the balcony here, just maintaining the control. Will drop down and get more kills off the back of it. And XF still holding control of the point, but IFM, they really want to get it back.
Yeah, actually, you know, what I'm seeing here from XF is really impressive. They, when they couldn't take the site, with a bit of a rotation, they just went all piled in, and now they have the site, and they've got that hard point down as it transfers over to the next one just down by warehouse. So, it's been a really, really strong start for XF against IFM, and this is a bit more neck to neck. This is what we're talking about. You know, number 2 and 3, we're going to see a stronger tussle here.
It was IFM, though, with the quicker rotation beforehand as the new point has spawned. As we can see here, just continuing to jump through and maintain control of the point. Moogly is going to make a bit of a push through, and XF and the rest of the team are going to be following suit. But it's very hard when you've got the entire team on the lockdown here. And as you can see, we've got one member just holding the line here for IFM, while the rest are out slaying. But slowly they've been chipped away, and XF are making their way in.
Yeah, I mean, look, the points are just racking up now for IFM. So holding this top level is just really, really working out for them. Unfortunately for XF, strong start. They've now got to figure out how are they going to take this hard point off IFM, or do they play for the next one? Do they sacrifice the next 10 seconds of this hard point to try and pick up points on the next one? It's a real tough situation to be in as these points just break away so effectively. Hiplop does secure it though. Great engagement, but that's only going to give them the last few seconds on the hard point just down by house. So, it's just one of those situations where, as a team, you really need to start making those quick decisions about, are you going to keep tussling for this one, or are you going to regroup and make it for the next one?
Well, it's just one of those scenarios where, hey, maybe I can get a few sliver of the points while the bulk of my team moves to that next hard point. And IFM so quick, happy to actually give them the slivers to get a little bit of that extra control on the side of it. As you can see, that Annihilator now in play, getting kill after kill. And this is making stuff really hard for XF to get in when these score streaks now, or these operator skills, are giving them even more of an edge into it.
Absolutely. I mean, IFM really took house so fast and just held it, and it's barely been touched by XF. They're just trying to find their way in. They're going to come in from the top balcony windows there, and they can't, with Mad Max just locking it down. 1 frag, 2 frag. Can he get the 30? He needs the reload. He needs some support. It's coming in from his teammates, and XF have dipped out. They've said, no, we can't do this. I need to regroup again and work for the next hard point.
That's something that I really like. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. In this case here, XF have gone, you know what, this is something we just can't control. Mad Max basically pulling off one hell of a killing spree to make sure they can maintain the point of that, control of that point. And now, as the next point is about to unlock, teams are beginning to make their way into it. And IFM, once again, other ones are just on the point beforehand, just making sure that the early bird's getting that early worm.
Yeah, or I guess it's a bakery, maybe some early bread.
Maybe there's some more worms in the bread, okay? You never know.
This is where it's coming down to the wire now, right? Like, so XF need to hold these hard points and get some points on the board. Otherwise, it's just going to become really ineffective as the gap is getting closer to that 150 point. IFM putting up a really good fight, saying, we're not going to let it go, though. We want to lock this in. That overspray from Natty, just missing all of those shots. Big whiffs for the boys. And unfortunately, not convincing there. XF and IFM still tussling for bakery here, but IFM winning out on top. 20 points
now XF need to go the
it.
long way around.
If XF don't get some promising play in.
Yeah, well, you can see here only like 10 more points to go. IFM still maintaining control. At least there will be a breakaway as this point's about to expire, and the next one will need to be the play. IFM again beginning the rotation.
4 points on the board.
Oh my, oh my. XF, though, seem to be the ones that are a bit sooner to it, but IFM beginning to make a way, and XF finally getting some points on the board now.
They can't let it go. They got to hold it.
Oh, it's too much. IFM just have too much commanding presence in this first map, Hardpoint, and we'll be able to take away that first round. That was pretty impressive. Now, Mal, can you break it down to us, or break it down for us in particular? What was the special moves that IFM were making just to have such a commanding position?
Well, that was definitely a better performance from IFM than I was expecting. That was just domination. And what I have realized is every time the hardpoint is about to expire, maybe like 15 seconds earlier, I've seen IFM rotating, like getting that initial hardpoint 15 seconds earlier, just so that they're there before XF would be, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, and then the other 3 can still create a challenge on the current hardpoint. They're getting those early spawns to get that early advantage into the hardpoint, which is going to set them up for the win.
Pretty impressive now. I mean, Kwan, you were talking about it before. DX Danger or Danger was the player that you were really looking out for here on IFM, and damn, did he perform. I mean, MVP of the round coming across there, absolutely, coming to the performance. I mean, what was it that, that you've seen with DX Danger that made you think that this person was probably going to be the MVP or one of the MVPs?
He has a really strong game sense, right? If I was to go 1v1 in him in an aim duel, I know I'm coming out last, right? So that's it doesn't matter what you do. Danger has a very strong game sense. And so it gives him that confidence where he just starts rolling in a direction, and any player in front of him is just another point on the board for him. So that's why I like to watch him. It's just so impressive how he has this read where he knows they're going to duck left, and he ducks with them, and he's ready. Aims up. He's got. If I could have a dual perspective, and you could see everyone's, aim sight down come up, the ADS come up, he would probably be that split second in front of people because he's 1 second ahead of everyone, right? So that's why it's so impressive to watch him. And when you've got someone like Natty telling you where to go, he doesn't have to think about where he's going. He's just listening to comms saying, all right, let's work on the next hard point. It's going to be at the bakery. He goes, yep, I'll just head over there, and I'm like a train. I'll roll over everybody. So yeah, really, really good.
It really just taking into account, of course, that idea of, hey, I'm the soldier here, you're the commander, give me the command and I will make it happen. We are now going to be moving to the next match. Next map will be Summit, and of course that will be Search and Destroy. This was actually picked by IFM, who will be starting off as a special forces coming into it. Now, this makes things even rougher for XF because, of course, this is not their picked maps, not what they actually wanted to prefer coming into it. How does Summit operate, Mal, in this case, as a Search and Destroy? Where are we really looking for these points or flanks that these teams need to look out for?
Well, right now, I reckon for the first initial few rounds, you want to be studying what the opposition team is looking to do with the, with the, where they're positioning their members and where they're looking for their picks, where they're looking to rush and what they're looking to hold.
Yep. You've got to know when to fold them, and Kwan, I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, look, I think we're ready to go. So we're about to hop into that map. But, Mal, I think after watching, Hardpoint go down that way, I am favoring IFM on this one because I really couldn't tell if XF they had a good few plays that they pulled out, but they just couldn't hold it together. And Search and Destroy is all about those strong rotates, strong plays, consistent fragging, matching those plays too. Because there's no real respawn. You're done for the round. And so, I'm favoring IFM heavily on this one. I don't know if you agree on that one.
Well, we're going to see how it does play out because, of course, we are jumping now into the Search and Destroy here on Summit between IFM and XF. IFM up 1 for the time being, and the frags are going out. The players are rushing in, and it's both rushes from both these teams.
Yeah, big heavy rushes. I mean, that's a good way to take a site is you just go all in heavy, especially on the first round because you haven't really settled into how the other team's going to play it. So it didn't really work out for XF. It is working out for IFM as they clash like two rhinoceroses just going horn to horn, right? If that's the one we want to go with, we're going with it now.
I mean, typically you get $2, wouldn't you? That's the more common analogy.
IFM taking that first round, 4 players up, 1 down, all of XF wiped off the floor.
I'm just thinking about your analogy of 2 rhinoceroses then. It just feels like XF was running in one direction and IFM just went straight into the gut of XF in this case, just completely different things. Like XF, where you're running into, wrong way, my friend. But That being said, as we can see, we're moving straight back into the next round. It's going to be another rush again, and these rhinoceroses are colliding.
Oh yeah, absolutely. XF have just bowled past, and now we've got IFM just getting behind, but unable to pick those frags up, even though he's in such a great position. Now this is down to Natty to hold back, and can he do it? He doesn't get. He gets shot in the back. XF are 4 up, leaving 1 on IFM, who's going to have to do so much work now to take down 4 of XF's players all on their own. And unfortunately, Mad Max has got so much pressure leaning on his shoulders right now with a Fennec. Diamond encrusted, I have to say. He's really going all bling on this one. But XF spreading out. They're looking for him. And this is just going to be so, I don't even know where you'd begin here. Who do you pick off first? They're hanging out in pairs. They've got good crossfires. And he's done. Straight in the back. Mando cleaning that up. 1-1. Well done, XF.
Yeah, managing to bring it back in the end now. What I really love about that as well is as soon as they realized where he was in position, you could see the movements around the map for XF to say, no worries, he's here near the balcony side, just come around, we'll get him at B, be nice and easy across the board. But we are jumping right back into it again. This time around, a bit of a different strategy from both these teams. They're rushing in, but it's a bit of a fan out this time. They're not rushing into it like Rhinoceroses, more like they're taking their time a little bit more like praying mantises, if I had to really give an analogy this time around.
Well, they're just managing pace, right? You don't want to go rush, and then keep setting the expectation. You're going to, strategy. You could rush 10 times in a row and really throw off the other team and then not rush, right? But I think, what they're thinking is if they're playing out of a book, they're saying, all right, we've done a rush, it worked. Now let's try something else. And this is what we're going to watch them unfold. So they're just jockeying for some good position down here on A. But right now we're watching IFM get a great flank up on here, and bang, down goes 1, using that carbine to pick up a really good frag, but it gets traded off. It's 4-4. That would have really surprised XF. Those calls coming out saying there's someone behind us, and he does get dropped by Depressed, who now puts that into a 3v4 situation.
Yeah, really just trying to find it. And XF now completely explode onto the map. Members are dropping left and center. Natty's trying to be the lone man standing, but will be taken down in the end. And XF now off to a quick lead 2-1 against IFM, and really shows you how these two colliding styles are a bit different, do have a bit of change to it. And of course, it does mean that I feel like once that tipping point comes into play, one of these teams will be able to clean the map right up. So it really is a very even competition between both of these teams.
Absolutely. XF really performing well here. And this is something that, we wouldn't have expected after seeing Hardpoint, but it is a pleasure to watch. So now we're seeing a bit more of a balanced strat. Everyone's just waiting for a quick pick here. XF's going to say if they can get one pick, that opens up some movement on one bit of the map. Whilst IFM have really slowed down their flanking positions. Although Danger corrects me as I'm wrong, as he does get in from the window there, taking down 1 down I'm not getting the call right.
Well, it takes him down from that balcony, but the big thing there as well, Josh the Pro manages to trade out before, and now Natty's going to find Moogie. So XF on the back foot as we're making the move onto this. It's going to be a 3-on-4. Continue to watch Danger, who's trying to maintain this point in the balcony, just here into the control room. He's going to throw out a grenade for good measure to hold control. We'll find one of the members, but Josh the Pro, he's got the first hit on the attack, and Danger goes down.
He does. Danger did a lot of work there, though. That would have put a lot of pressure on to XF, something that they would not have wanted. And down goes, I feel for him there. He was just trying to find an angle and he couldn't get it. Down goes one more player for IFM, leading into a 2v3 situation. This is not a scenario you want as IFM. The round after round, there's so much pressure being put on them, and what they're trying is just not working. And this is a great setup by XF. We're going to see a frag here. Oh, he misses all the shots. He doesn't get it.
Oh.
That is not the kind of fumbling you want to see in a 3v2 situation, leading into a 1v2. Can XF hold this off? The bomb is being defused. It's too late. Piplup pushed off the site. That is not the kind of scenario you want to happen. But it
absolutely not.
They were in the right positions. XF had all the right positions, and those shots were whiffed. Unfortunate. High pressure scenarios here. Absolutely cracks at the seam.
Yeah, well, pretty crazy there. XF had all the expectations ready to go. But grenades coming into it. Seems to have all the members from IFM in one place. The grenade isn't going to find the mark there, but other members will go down. The flashbang is in place. And as we can see here, IFM up to an early lead managed to get some extra points or kills off the board. A few pre-shots in the corner, but IFM will fight back and collect Natty for their troubles.
Well, yeah, what we saw IFM try to do there was just muscle down the top control there. But, it worked a little bit, but now they're stalled. So now they're in trouble because they're really out of position on holding the map, although we are seeing a rotation from IFM to try and open that up, and that gets it into a 2v4 to release them out, but it just puts them on, in a really awkward position. Oh my gosh.
Moogie, I like
frag,
it.
Moogie. That's a dirty frag.
He's just sitting in the corner ready to go. Piplet finds the kill, and XF, they've managed to turn this around. Piplet finds both Mad Max and Feed. You can see now he's going to be on the own. He's going to be trying to run out the clock for the time being, but unfortunately doesn't have access to the bomb for the time, but he's trying to defend it on that side. Two members there of XF are pushing through. Danger, there manages to make this a 1v1. He's trying to clutch up. He's running around the corners. It's a cat and mouse game, but he's managing to get some hit markers on the side here. He's basically putting him around the Rosie for the time being. Hits over the edge. And Danger, my God, he manages to turn it around after XF managed to beautifully bring it to their advantage. Oh, I understand now why, Kwan, you said to watch out for this play.
Did you see that confidence? He just went, you know what? I can't get the angle on him, and he keeps dashing left, right. So I'm just going to climb the computers. And that's what I like to call the highway to the danger zone. If you're in a 1v1 situation with him and you haven't killed him in 2 to 3 seconds, you are really flying too close to the sun.
And the experience just being shown there as well, the understanding of, okay, we're both trying to get the right angles across. We're just playing this cat and mouse game. And like you said, to go, you know what? I can just go over and conquer it instead. That's something that requires a lot of experience, a lot of play. Yeah, exactly. Well, wow, some nice quick kills there.
Yeah, great angle by Just the Pro. Picks up 2. IFM down on the 3v4 situation. He picks up 3. That leaves it to 2v4. IFM really on the back foot now. This could be another round to XF in their favor. If we can't see any special frags coming out, it's 1v3, all down to IFM on the bat, and he's done. Natty, 1 and done.
And that was definitely, again, one of those points where the tipping point reaches, and then one of the teams just immediately takes control of that momentum, pulls out the round. It's 3-3. Again, target is going to be 6. And I feel like we're going to be going all the way to 10 rounds in this particular, in the Search and Destroy.
Absolutely. And, that's the kind of, that's why a quick pick is so important on this. It's about controlling the, movement on the map. You can open up some zones, but then it's important to capitalize. You get a pick, momentum. Whole team needs to dive in or execute off that pick so that you can catch the other players out of position, because they're going to be calling the weakness in their defense or maybe even their attack, and the other team can just really open that up.
Well, Josh the Pro just doing a little bit of a peek there, pre-firing the angles to see if perhaps the member was waiting in the wing to pick him up. Still going to be 5 players on 5 for the time being. Danger, definitely in the danger zone right now, just in the middle of the sense there. And here we go. Finally, the frags are coming out. IFM dropped 2 members right off the bat. XF again in a commanding position to look to take this round, and as well as the bomb being dropped as well means they just need to control this area, and they'll be in a pretty good position.
It's interesting to see, because as they swap sides and IFM are now on the attack, that is a second frag on the board, evening it out to 3v3. IFM opted for a slow attack, which didn't work out for them in the initial phase. And now they're just down to having to try and frag out to open up the space. It is a 2v3 situation, though, so IFM have the advantage on the board, and maybe playing these slow frags is going to work out for them, as they've locked XF both onto one site. Can they clean them out? They're both low. It's down to a pretty tough fight. They didn't. It's 2v1. But Danger gets the double frag in a single line when they were both on low health, cleaning it up. He is the man with the broom at that point.
I was about to say the janitor came in and completely finished up the rest of the mess, and that was really well played by AFM. They did, take some losses off the back when they tried to force their way through, but the damage had been done, and that meant that it was very easy for Danger to come in from the flanks and clean everyone else up. And we're going to be moving into a 4v3. IFM finally back in the advantage here. And still, again, a bit of a slow run in from XF, and IFM continuing to make their move in a little bit more carefully on the attack. But one member going down, XF pretty happy to take these nice quick kills when they're granted to them.
Yeah, that's right. What I don't want to see is IFM starting to lean too heavy on Danger as the fragger to open things up. I do want to confirm that wherever Danger's crosshair is pointing is the danger zone. But right now, IFM, you can't keep rolling out this same slow strat. It would be good to kind of mix it up with a heavy push somewhere just to throw XF off a bit more. But up, down, there's a pick again. It's leading into 3v5. And see, it's just not, this pacing's not really going to work for them here. 2v5. 2v4, Danger's down. This is not a good scenario for IFM traditionally on this matchup right now. Mad Max is left into a 1v4 scenario. Can he get the frag? He whiffs those shots. He can feel the sweaty fingers from here. And it is done. That is a 4-4 on the board.
Yep. Yeah, he really needed to get those initial picks off the side there. Unfortunately, when you do shoot out those shots, you give away a position and allows the rest of the team to reposition and get the kills afterwards. And again, these slow pushes not working out for IFM as long as Danger is the one remaining on the map afterwards. Then he's able to take advantage of the scenarios as they unfold. Again, a nice quick rush here from IFM this time around. They're throwing out a number of frags in play. They are going to find one of their members for their trouble here. And XF now a bit on the back foot here as they spread out between both the sides.
Oh, the carbine not giving enough damage there. You want to see a Car9 in replacement of that. Unfortunate for that shot. But it does put XF on 2 and IFM on 3. There is an advantage here. They might be able to get the plan here. And that's what I wanted to see. A bit of a rush strat just to mix it up a bit. Shake it up a bit. It goes down to a 1v3 situation. XF are really on the back foot here now. Down by lift. Can he get the frags that he needs? They're everywhere. They know where he is. He's dived on and he goes down, brings to the fighter. That's 5th point on the board. This is really neck and neck. They're trading round for round.
Yeah, everything, again, is just on a knife's edge. The tension can be cut. Both these teams do not want to give up any of the blood that they're willing to. They want to make sure they win this round. And it's even more important for XF because, of course, that means they'll be going into the next round 1-1 instead of it being 2-0. And it wouldn't be a match point staring down their face. Again, another quick rush here from XF. They're moving around the corner. Danger gets a nice kill on the side there, but it will be traded back. We can see if they jump into press, jumps the scores on the side here. Danger coming on through, managed to get 2 kills, but will be killed up by Piplip. And things, again, not going the way of XF as IFM continue to pile in.
Yeah, facing the barrel of Oblivion, and they go down 6-4. That was close, but that last round really, like you said, that facing that match point does put a lot of mental strain in the back of your mind where if you muck this one up, it's over. And that sometimes that's a performance issue, right? We all have those. So.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you could even see in the cracks go in the other direction for IFM where we actually had shots missed before as well. And that's something that's coming into it. I mean, these guys are playing for some pretty decent money, some pretty decent prestige, and that starts to play in your mind. Hesitation is the main enemy, or as some people like to say, I mean, if you've ever watched Creed, sometimes the biggest, or Creed or Rocky, one of the two, I reckon it's been used in both times. Sometimes you're your own greatest enemy and you need to overcome that.
Talking about hesitation, without Rezi, he was the player that had no hesitation in any scenario. We used to say Rezi, no hezi. So shout out to Rezi if he's in the chat or watching. But I want to highlight one thing that we didn't lean on too heavy. XF were doing very well, and I mentioned Josh the Pro was one of the players to watch. 13 frags on the board. It's such a sad sight that didn't have enough effect to carry them across the line. And I hope that comes up in the next map that we see XF being able to capitalize on basically the fact that we're out fragging. So.
Yeah, well, another thing that we haven't been leaning on is, of course, that expertise from Mao, who is our brains of the outfit. Mao, break down what happened on that map for us. Give us an idea of how, because it was neck to neck for quite some time, but IFM managed to edge out on top. What was the difference?
Yes, it was neck and neck for a majority of the game. XF putting up a very good performance against IFM, which has S&D as the prime game mode. I would say that's what I've been saying the whole time. IFM is very good at S&D in comparison to the other rounds, and the fact that XF is able to put up that good of a fight on versus this team that's been dominating the competitive OCE scene for so long, it's just great to see new players coming up. It's just, I'm just happy with it. Also, as you see, the pacing from IFM at the beginning was pretty slow. However, they did catch on to that and they did switch up their play style. Also, we did see a lot of rounds where XF started with the initial player advantage, getting some early picks, and they were very good on capitalizing on that.
I would say that was Josh the Pro, right? He was getting those great picks and opening up the playbook for XF. And that did have IFM on the back foot for a while, but it just, what really was falling apart consistently for XF, when they had the full advantage over IFM, they would just collapse so quickly because IFM, I'm not sure what they were doing, but they were saying, let's put pressure on. Like we saw that in that round where they basically kettled two of XF's players into the lift room. And then, you had a pincer movement with Danger coming around the back and then 2 coming in through the front. And look, it almost didn't work out for IFM, but that pincer movement gave them to them. But they kettled XF into a position where they were just trapped, where, you know, they were just in the worst scenario. And I noticed that a few times when they were in a good position, but then IFM would just figure out how can they just take the pressure off IFM and put it back on XF.
Just cheating out those little bit of extra pressure is exactly what you need to turn it around. And I mean, there was a clear moment there. XF had the lead, so IFM being able to withstand that pressure, come back as well, means they are definitely the makings of a great team that we like to see. And of course, a great team that has been around the scene for quite some time. We do need to have a quick discussion though about the next map, which of course is going to be Raid. That's coming up very soon. I even think that we're going to be jumping into it right now. I think everything's ready to go. I think the players are revving. They're not even giving us a chance to complete the talks here. I mean, that's pretty crazy if you ask me. And with that countdown coming in, we're jumping into what might be the final map here between IFM and XF. Because, of course, IFM is up 2-0 for the time being. Can XF bring it back and take us to map 4? Or will IFM be able to close this one out? And, of course, it's going to be that domination.
Love to see some domination. I actually think this is going to go really well for XF, more so than Hardpoint. Just because of the great fragging that we saw from Josh the Pro, although those angles under the van, you hate to see it. Getting a good frag there for IFM. Mad Max just playing a really good position there, elevated while his teammates are down by the gold Lambo, dropping players in their face. Manda just struggling to take on 1v3 there. Lambo does blow up, does some extra damage, but not enough to really wipe out that area.
IFM off to a quick start here, managing to get 2 of the points. See, well and truly under control for XF for the time being. But of course, if IFM decides to say, you know what, hold the 2-point game, not much they have to worry about. Piplup will jump over and clean up Mad Max. Danger also continuing to get some more kills across the board. But things are going a bit crazy here. I really am hoping that Josh the Pro can jump into it. I mean, if you had to say someone who doesn't have hesitation on the side of XF, I will put my money on Josh the Pro and like to see this guy shine just that little bit more. But relatively stable here for IFM, and now finally XF putting some pressure and getting that B point. But again, I think short.
Love to see it. All right, so it looks like XF have secured a holding position on ANC now, putting the advantage well in their favor. And they were playing B at the same time. They could have had total domination on all 3. Although C is going straight back to IFM as you watch that tick up really quick, and it does trade back. That was a fast retake by IFM. Manda trying to hit those shots. Unfortunate, the fighter just dodging like left, right. He's a man with some quick reflexes there. Oh, and he does catch him out. Oh, you hate to see that. Oh, Manda.
You understood. You know what? He's chasing me right now. That I'm now going to be the hunter here. Piplup does a nice quick slide there. We'll continue to move out across the board. Of course, Danger will be able to find it in the end there. And IFM still well and truly in control of this map. 2-1 at this point. The points begin to rack up 45-29, or about to tick over to 30. Now we can see here again, IFM is continuing to hold strong for the point for this time being. XF need to do a quick rotation onto one of these areas under IFM's control to see if they can get something back, because that target of 75 is enclosing very quickly or enroaching very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. XF seem to be really jockeying for B here, just trying to throw players at it to see if they can get some access, but it's just not working out for them. This IFM have a very, very good setup. Holding 2 angles that are really strong. Although now we're seeing XF maybe rotating onto C, but they're about to be squashed between 2 of IFM players, and the frags come down and they are done. Wiped out. That was stalled. Shot in the back and middle. Unfortunate. Oh my gosh. Fiend just going large. You could say he's a fiend with this. He's using the Fennec right now.
Fiend has upgraded to a monster. He's just continuing to throw out his kills as well. We'll also throw out that Hunter Killer Drone for a bit of good measure, but finally will be shut down by Josh the Pro. But everything being said and done, while we go to the closing match of this round, 75 here in the scenario here reached for IFM, and they were about to hit complete control over the map. I mean, pretty crazy across the board here. IFM just seemed to be in full control in both these rounds. I mean, it was close in that search and destroy, but IFM really coming out on top now.
Yeah. And like you said, Fiend is the monster. Look at the scoreboards. He's 15 frags up, right? He is just full monster mode right now. I would not want to be playing with someone who's in the zone right now at that level on a map like this. All right, this is all in the court for XF. They're going to have to pull out some serious heavy play because this is map number 3. If they go down, like you said, it's all out and they go into the lower bracket. They have an opportunity. There's still enough points available for them to play and take this map and go into a 4th. The Annihilator working really well there.
Ooh,
1 frag, 2 frags, just clearing. Oh, Josh the Pro dropped down. Yep, unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
you can see it being
that's
shut down.
clear out the map.
Well, I mean, the thing here is XF, again, they are pulling out all the stops. They've managed to get 2 points. See, only 1 picked up for IFM now. They need to pull off something to get it back and close out the rest of this map. But XF, if they can hold this position nice and strong, they'll be in a good spot. Now we do see the Annihilator is in hand for IFM, but will be shut down by Josh the Pro once again. In the end, though, you can see another Annihilator come out and get Mad Max. A lot of things happening here. These Annihilators seem to just be spawning everywhere for all these players on the map now as these operator skills are being put into place because they understand it's go time right now for us to get control of it. And XF are approaching very quickly to IFM's score. They might be able to take it back, but IFM seem to be on that B point now, but it has been stemmed for the time being.
2 frags on the as I like to call it, the Predator mode, where it just like locks on and you can click. It was a good move by XF. They saw IFM pulling out their Annihilators and they just responded with the same. That kept the map pretty balanced. The scores have narrowed, but IFM at the same time traded B for themselves. And this is going to put more pressure back onto XF, who are already just struggling to stay into the map right now.
Well, as you can see as well, a bit of progress has been lost. So it was actually a bit of progress on A, and they've managed to even that back up. But now as we come into IFM, 2 up. I mean, 108 to 88. Again, now that advantage that was beginning to be clawed back from XF is beginning to slip between their fingers. And this is it. This is the final round. They have to come back into it. They need to get something big, something special on this map now. Just the Pro will be able to stop at least one of the members from coming through, but it's still short-lived.
Cross that red line. You know, there's this threshold, 120 almost. Yeah, 120 points for IFM. 2 points in IFM's favor. There's a red line there crossing that XF need to get a second side up and stop dying. They need to start fragging harder. And this line is starting to cross. They haven't. They almost had C. They're not going to get it in time. Once you see that 130 mark on the board with 2 points still in the favor,
you need to 3 cap after that.
Yeah, unless XF get all 3 and do total domination and just go fragging hard. It's just there's no space. There's no time here.
Well, they seem to have some control on C now for the time being. No one's really reacting from IFM to stop it, but again, a little bit too late for them to come in. And finally, it's going to be shut down. Another member will jump on. They'll get C in return. Nice little quick move there from XF, but they're going to be swapping on through. It was a suicide, but now, you know what? You make suicide on one side. IFM just says, you know what? You want C? Take it. We'll take A.
Oh, this is so bad. XF are just sitting right on the wire now. They're just watching those points tick up. 145 in favor of IFM. This is the 3rd map between XF and IFM in the winner, the upper bracket map 2 game 2 that we're watching. This is map number 3, and it's going to go in favor of IFM, who are at 149, 150. It's done, won, and settled. IFM finished their matchup against XF 3-0, sending XF into the lower bracket.
And Mal, what did IFM do just that little bit more different there to really edge out against XF once again in that domination round?
Well, what you were saying about once XF did take C, IFM did immediately take A. What I realized is that the map control is just amazing in that game right there. As you saw, they did have some people that could hold that B flag. However, they did have a majority of Slayers that could just push them back even further to just tick out the time to get those extra points so that XF is not able to cap the flag.
I think another thing we take into account is that performance from Fiend was absolutely insane. I mean, to be up 15 kills that early into the round, it really sets a precedent that's pretty hard to overcome. And again, we had Danger. He was the one that was actually the MVP twice there. Fiend ends up being the one that edges out this time. I think when you've got these players that have the ability to just come out of the blue and really upstand against more of the veterans, that's something that's really nice to have in the team.
Who were the standout players for you, Mal?
Well, definitely the stand-up players for me was Natty because he's the IGL of IFM. So he's very good at keeping the team positive, calling the shots, calling what to capture, you know, everything that the IGL does. And also Fiend, he did a very great job in that game right there. And also, I just want to call out to the end of the first half, he got a triple kill with his Hunter Killer. I'm not even getting a single kill with my hunter killers, and he's getting 3 with his.
But you can't control it though. He's just throwing
Yeah.
it in the air, going, "I think there's some people in that direction," and so well done to him. Well done to him.
Yeah.
In cahoots with a hunter killer drone in that sense. That being said, though, guys, let's bring up the schedule as well. As you can see, we did have Mindfreak first up beforehand. It was IFM against XF. IFM managing to come out on top. So 2 quick rounds between both of these teams. That does mean that we're going to have Pride X Ivory up against XF in that lower bracket coming up next. So please, guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to a short break. And we have returned with the Activision's Call of Duty Mobile Community Challenge presented by AEL. Now, for the audience out there, again, this is the ANZ region, and we just saw IFM take out XF in a 3-0 sweep, which means we get to see both XF and Pride X Ivory battle it out now to stay alive in the tournament. This is going to be a little bit of a contrast in those particular playstyles because XF do like to take things a little bit slower. Pride X Ivory like to rush in. Guys, what do you take of it? We'll start with you, Kwan. What do you think is going to happen when we do this losers bracket?
Oh, look, it's team rank 3 versus team rank 4 right from the groups phase. So I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be really good to watch. I'm really impressed with where XF is at the moment. So I'm favoring XF heavily on this. They did so well on that last Search and Destroy against IFM. I think they're going to take Search and Destroy hands down, and I love to be surprised. Pride X might do better on Hardpoint and Domination though, because as you said, they're a bit more rushy. They've got like to move quick. They like to just get in there and go for bursts. And I wasn't very convinced that XF was handling those situations too well. But yeah, I think it's going to be really close. This might be the first time we go to a map number 4 and we see some even a bit more action on the scoreboard.
Now, I'd be very keen to see that eventuate too. Now, Mao, real Mao. Let's be honest, real Mao. And I know the chat wants to hear Mao speak as well. So Mao, take it away. Tell us what you think's going to play out.
Yeah, well, I really agree with what Kwan said. He's basically just taken the words out of my mouth. Yeah, number 3 versus number 4. It's definitely going to be. It could be a close fight. Who knows? I thought XF versus IFM was going to be a close fight. However, it did turn out to be a 3-0 to IFM's way. So who knows? Anything could happen at this point.
Just what I would expect to hear real Mao say as well. So, guys, it's real Mao, all right? Just letting you know it's the real Mao. Now, we do have the picks picked up as well and the bans across the board. I think Pride X has banned Crossfire. XF has actually chosen to ban Rays. So we're going to see probably a little bit different for the maps coming into it. That means we are going to see Summit up first. That's going to be followed by Firing Range for Search and Destroy, and then that we'll see that it's going to be Takeoff for that Domination. And of course, let's touch on those other 2 maps just a little bit later, because who knows if we're ever going to make it now to a game 4. I mean, we want to see a game 4, but it's going to be completely different. Hardpoint, of course, is going to be Summit. A little bit different for us because it seems we have been seeing a little bit more of the other maps played. Now, Hardpoint for Summit, it's a bit different because, of course, there's a lot of enclosed spaces that all the teams need to take out to get into. A lot of good areas to control those entry points. Mao, you know what? I'm gonna put it to you first. Kwan, sit on the side for a little bit, okay, mate?
I'll take a break.
Take a bit of it. Mao, what do we expect to see for these as the main points of contention on this Hardpoint?
Well, in the Hardpoint Summit, we're definitely going to see a lot of close-range guns. We're going to see mainly SMGs such as the Fennec and the QXR, QQ9, and the Bison. Those are going to be my main 4 that I'm going to be looking out for. We might even see some shotguns just because of how close range this map is. And it's going to be uncommon to see any snipers or ARs.
Well, another thing I see that some people in the chat are saying, hey, when are the finals? Guys, we are in the finals right now. We're going to decide who's going to make it to the grand finals, which we'll see tomorrow. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show while we get everything underway for you, because we still need to play out the rest of these stages. Absolutely. Now, Kwan, again, I mean, let's talk about what they're playing for here. I mean, it's like $9,000 prize pool as well, as these guys are getting ready to jump into it. $3,000, of course, being the lion's share, and $1,000 being played off scene. And we really have to thank Activision for putting this show on for us, and of course, giving these players an opportunity to take away some prize money.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with all the support from Activision, it's really lit a fire under the community's bonnet, and all these teams have come out of the woodworks. I mean, people have heard of Mindfreak, people have heard of IFM because they're pretty set in wanting to be professional players and really get out in the competitive landscape. So they've played overseas and in tournaments around the world. But what we're seeing now is all these other teams come out because of this prize pool, and that's the best thing to see, right? You put down 3 seasons now, a total of $20,000 has been put out as prize money. And it starts to attract players in, engage those that are really serious about getting better at it, and tell other players that, hey, there's this competitive scene, there's something here for you, and that's exciting, right? And that's what we're watching. We're watching these 2 teams that are about to play are those up and comers. They came in season 1 and they were pretty. They were okay, right? They were pretty. They just weren't cohesive teams. Great players, but they weren't cohesive teams, and you could see it. strats were poor, comms were down. And now that we're in season 3, we're starting to see some pretty good use of strategy. You can tell there's better comms going on. The synergy between the players is starting to improve, and it's really starting to level out the playing field. And I think we're going to see something really exciting in this next match.
Well, I like that you use the term playing field, because I believe it has been set. The players are ready to go, and we are about to jump into it. It will, of course, be the losers bracket here. Pride X Ivory going up against XF. And that first map will be Summit Hardpoint, which means everything's all about those quick rotations around the map, making sure that that team synergy is into play. And the players are set. Mal, what do you reckon is going to be happening right off the back here? Will there be that quick rush towards the center, or will players look to pinch around the side and actually get some quick frags there before moving into position?
I reckon we're going to see a variety of players from both teams going both up the top to control that upper area, have the high ground, and a majority of players going down to the bottom as well. As we see, just as I said, the players going straight up to the top here to get that high ground as well.
Yeah, wasting no time there, but it is going to be XF who are quicker to the mark, jumping onto it as well. Pride X Ivory will not be giving it up without a fight, and they have managed to regain control. And it is an absolute massacre in the center of this hard point, but XF once again back up on toe, getting those points and racking them up.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing we were seeing. XF played very well at Summit against IFM, so they've got some intimacy with the map. They've also had a chance to warm up on the map, quite recently. So they're just coming fresh off that into this matchup against Pride X. But they do lose the next hard point to Pride X, who are able to take a lead now as the frags go back and forth. And this is kind of what I was expecting to see. Frag heavy Pride X, crashing into the train that is XF, and it's just neck and neck, trading back and forth. 1-for-1 and almost the same on those points on the board.
Well, XF will try and hold that point in the corners. They're trying to use those edges to their advantage, but as you can see, Pride X Ivory able to jump right on through it, bust through it. XF, though, managed to get themselves back into the point. It is now being swapped around as the next point is about to unlock. It's, of course, near that top side of the map there, just around that balcony area. Hunter Killer Drone will be thrown out just for a little bit of measure, and now that they're on the point, they managed to control Pride X Ivory, now racking up those points.
Yeah, actually, Pride X starting to break away, and I this is what I kind of suspected. The Pride X might be, and you said it, you called it. They're frag heavy. They're starting to make that break because they're keeping XF off the map. It's still neck and neck, though. We want to see something a little more convincing, and I think we'll notice that in the next hard point. However, this one performs, and then we come into the next one, is going to really set the tone for where this is going. Pride X really, they're just throwing themselves like, bullets, body and all at XF and not giving XF a moment to breathe.
I think another thing you can see XF's trying to do is actually split up their forces a little bit, throw one person to the flank to move around, send the rest of the bodies towards that point, see if they can actually get in there with that force and maybe flank someone off. But again, we are now in the dying moments of this hard point. The next one is going to be rotating across, and we can already see Pride X Ivory beginning to abandon that point that XF has control over and beginning to make the move onto it. But how quick did XF just immediately abandon that point and get back on top of it, and again have managed to jump in there and control it? It's pretty crazy how both these teams are moving so quickly across the board. You're feeling that maybe XF would be a little bit more warmed up, but Pride X Ivory have been watching and waiting to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, great hold by Josh the Pro, putting down 2 and scaring a third off. And he doesn't quite get the fourth, trading it back to Pride X. But yeah, it was that really strong rotation that they did there. I thought actually Pride X might get there first in that race back, but Pride X wanted to opt to hold back now near the tower, which opened it up for XF to just dive in and take it. So, really strong play there by XF to get in there and just bring their whole squad to the fore.
Well, things still relatively even now for the time being, as XF is still managing to hold on. You can tell Pride X Ivory are trying to get in, but to no avail. So XF continuing to close down that gap in the points and getting very close down to being 64 apiece, which might be what it's going to end up on. Predator Missile's going to come down, is going to get a few kills before the trouble there, but nothing that you'd want to have in full control. And now, of course, that another point is now ready to be opened up as the other one's closed off, and it's going to be Pride X Ivory first off the bat to get the point under control.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you're starting to see where the play is going. So as much as XF held that one, Pride X were all over this one. And I think, Pride X are just going to have this edge over XF across the whole map here, keeping a small point lead. But, all you need to do is cross the finish line first, right? And that's what we're going to see. That's what my gut's telling me. The play is rolling out and such to, Don't whiff those shots. That's poorly painful. This is what we're starting to see here, where Pridex have really broken away on this next hard point, and they're about to cross the 100-point mark and give them a really convincing lead over XF.
And I feel just XF seems to be a little bit dispersed at the moment. They're walking in 1-by-1. They're trying to get onto the point. Obviously, that's the objective of it. But because they're not coming in as a 5-man unit, they seem to be just coming in dribs and drabs. They're not really having any success closing on through. A little bit of extra shots from the firearm is going to be enough to finally clean up Pridex Ivory. But this point's about to be closed off. And Pridex Ivory are happy to let that one go as they move on over to the next side.
Yeah, XF already all set up at down in the control room there. So amongst the computers, it's just really about for XF, it's about playing for the next zone. But they couldn't get it. Pridex took it. They're taking it off them. And this is going to be a really dangerous point in the map for XF, where Pridex could close it out right here and now. And those points are just ticking up. They're at 130. They've got 18 to go now. And XF really aren't anywhere to be seen. You called it. They're dropping in. They're dripping in one at a time. They need to hold back, all spawn, gather up, and try and do something coordinated. And it's not happening. Josh the Pro just desperately diving in. 6 more points on the board required for Pridex to close it out. Oh, man. This is just desperation now from XF, just throwing players in. They've got a cluster strike down. They have recaptured it. They're at 70 points now, but it is just so messy for them, and it's not looking in their favor as the last couple of points tick up in favor of Pridex to close that out.
Definitely a bit of a last stand there from XF as all the score streaks came down, but Pridex Ivory happy to match directly afterwards. I could see turrets going down, hunter killer drones, everything else, including the kitchen sink, just flying out of the blue as well to get something back. And Pridex Ivory do close that out in a convincing fashion. I'm going to take a look to Mal here. Now, Mal, that was pretty close neck to neck at the start of this round, but then Pridex Ivory were just able to run away with it. What was a little bit different there? What sort of strategy did they implement to take this particular round or map away?
Yeah, as you said, it was very close, like around 60 to 60, up until the 4th hard point where Pridex was just able to make a break for it. Like, personally, I think what they did is they just focused on map control, focused on winning those gunfights, taking it easier, as it put XF in a disadvantage, as you would say, and it made them start scrambling, desperately trying to get onto the hard point, not really working together, just trying to do everything by themselves, and just forgetting to play as a team.
Yeah, I think this is a brilliant point, because you were talking about this before, Kwan, and I want to throw it to you in that sense. The idea is that we know that Natty, for example, is a clear shot caller for the team of IFM, and it's probably part of the reason why they're performing so well. Do we know if XF actually has a shot caller underneath that, or they're doing more of a council system in terms of how they pick their shot calls?
Yeah, I actually don't really know who their strongest shot caller would be on XF's side, and maybe that is part of the problem, because they did crumble, and I could sort of see it happening. By the time we were at the 3rd hard point, you could see that they were playing well, but whatever happened from there, whoever made a break to a 4th hard point was going to tell me who was going to win the game, and it was Pridex Ivory, and that they held it together right across the finish line as a group, holding the sites, taking the sites. XF, the scramble from holding the 3rd hard point to the 4th one, they just dripped in one at a time. And when you're going one at a time and the other team's all set up ready to rock, you're one gun against 3 or 2, and you're just getting dropped. So and that was the rest of the map. It was XF just dripping in, and unfortunate for them, they really needed to catch that earlier as a team and say, okay guys, hold back. We were neck and neck, it's really close, but just hold back, let them get another 20 points on the board so we can actually take this hard point as a team and then work on the next one. And unfortunate that wasn't what we saw. And maybe that's the difference here between what we're going to watch for Pridex and XF. I still have my hopes up for the next match, which will be a search and destroy. XF very strong on that, and maybe they can prove that again. Whereas I just wasn't fully convinced by Pridex on against Mindfreak on search and destroy.
Absolutely. And I think another thing to take into account here as well is we were just saying that, hey, one of the big things that are underrated probably in this competition is that team synergy, that cohesion that we know Mindfreak have. And that's probably what's missing in the other teams, that they need to edge out and bridge that gap that seems to be there between the two. So hopefully we can see this communication come on through. Again, Search and Destroy is a much slower round. Of course, that's going to be on firing range. And this was the pick for XF as well. We won't be swapping any sides here as these guys are getting into it. I think that's something that's probably going to be very advantageous for XF, because if they're able to now slow down the momentum, calm down, realize, hey, you know what, they still have another round after this as well. We don't have to rush in, and we start to think a little bit more clearly. This might be able to be their turnaround coming into the next map, and that means if they can even it out one-on-one, we're going to see a real good competition as things go forward. Mal, do you think it's really key for these teams to start slowing things down and really use Search and Destroy as that advantage for it?
Yeah, I reckon it's definitely important in S&D to be listening to your team. So you're not just playing by yourself, getting selfish, trying to play aggressive, get kills, Everyone loves to pop off, everyone loves to rush. However, you don't want to be risking your life and putting your team in a disadvantage.
Well, that being said there, we do have the next map coming up. Of course, that's going to be firing range here in the Search and Destroy up against XF versus Pride X Ivory. Pride X Ivory currently up one map, managing to take that last round in a convincing fashion. Will Pride X Ivory continue to run away with the show, or will XF begin to even things out and make this one hell of a series? We're jumping into it now. Nades are flying through the air. Let's see what frags come on through.
I think if I was in XF's position, they're already down 2. Oh my gosh, this is not a great start for them against Pride X. Evening it up to 4-3 there, or starting to level it out. I would like to see XF starting to lean on Josh the Pro as the pick. Go out there, grab a pick, support him with one other player, and then fold in on what Josh the Pro can collect for the team. Hopefully we do see that. But right now, it's not promising with a 2v4 situation in the first set here as XF come in to try and attack and take a bomb site. They're going to get surrounded now. They've got a really bad rotate situation having on them, and Josh the Pro is under all the pressure now to carry this forward for them.
As you can tell, XF just trying to hold their 2 members now nice and close and safe. Perhaps, have a bit of strength in numbers and begin to pick off Pride X Ivory to even out if possible. Of course, the big advantage here is if they have the bomb, which, as I say that, they've lost the bomb. It's now put in the side here, and wow, Oblongata just comes through, able to find the final members of XF with nice, decent sniper shots on the side here, and Pride X Ivory off to a fantastic start. If
history has told me anything about playing any kind of bomb type capture the site map mode in any game, never let yourself get cornered like that on attack. You need to, if you're just down and out like that, just push one path super aggressively. That was really unfortunate for XF there. What a great shot.
Yeah, it was a really good shot.
It's just so painful.
It was remarkable. Two jumps to make that happen as well. And Oblongata was the one that actually managed to get the final 2 kills in the previous round as well. So Oblongata really shining here for Pride X Ivory. And again, another member dropping down for XF again. It just seems this momentum has moved on from the previous map into this round, and XF really need to do something to stop what's happening, maybe take things a little bit faster. I feel like that's when they really do actually said before, hey, maybe they need to slow it down, and that's just not working for them. They're slowing it down and they're not having to have any change in result here now. So perhaps go back to speeding it up. Josh the Pro though is going to be able to find a kill, and that means again we just need to lean on him, see what he's able to do.
2-4. So yeah, I would be leaning on Josh the Pro. Have the team hold their lines just so that Pride X doesn't have room to take zones and flank. But then lean on Josh the Pro to just say, look, I feel comfortable getting a frag here, and just let him move around and get those frags. He's very capable, as you saw there, but he gets axed in the back by Perfect IQ. That is so rude, Mr. Perfect IQ. He's trying to do his work here.
That was just incredible. Okay, you know what's awesome about that is that his name matches the play. That's the other thing that's incredible about that. How do you even get around in the Search and Destroy like that? That is some pretty good confidence to think that you're in a good position to come behind and actually get the axe.
Yeah, he definitely was able to catch him off guard with that axe for sure, just flying in from nowhere.
Dominique though now is on a bit of a killing spree here as he's going to decide he will be shot in the back. XF trying to even up everything along here. Pride Ivory again up 3-2, but a nice slide shot there will be able to take out one more member. And once again, Pride X Ivory making quick work of XF, and this is beginning to move to that next round much quicker than I expected. Yeah,
they're moving them on, aren't they? I think XF has a problem here, and it's Pride X is actually just playing with so much confidence right now. They are just moving against XF. Every operator is just saying, I'm going to go this way, and they're going. They're not hesitating. Whereas what I'm watching from on the screen with XF is you just see that hesitation. They sort of like double peek, triple peek. You don't want to be triple peeking, sites like that. And I think this is better. This is XF. Like, they're starting to take a site. They've just dived in. They got White House. They've got the site now. They can plant. And Pridex have had to just reset and wait and just see what they can do. See if they can get a pick to take the site back. They might get it though, because Omblingata has been performing so well. The sniper rifle, 3-5. Don't go into the White House, Pridex. And now, that is such a good peak by Omblingata. Just getting that quick snapshot. And that evens it up to, or starts to level it up to 2-3. 1, 2, 3. It's all on Omblingata.
He's trying to get it out. He needs to make it happen. 1-2 for the time being in the movie. He's finding these shots. This guy is on fire today. Gets another kill. He's managed to even it up 1-1. He's now picked up the side. They're looking for the defuse. Will it be a fake out? It looks like he's going for a Piplet's making the move around there in the end. And it's not going to be enough. He tried to go straight for the win, go for the Juggernaut, and Piplet is able to get him and find him in the end. It's going to be finally XF getting themselves onto the board 1-3.
It's such a painful decision to make where you don't know how far away Piplup is in that scenario. Do you defuse? Do you stick it? What do you do? And he had a sniper, so he couldn't exactly, quick defuse and let go to try and take Piplup on in close range. So he had to stick it. Tough decision to make.
Overall, I mean, credit to the play, right? Credit to the play. Oblongard is on fire.
Oh, he is. I don't want to ever take on someone, a sniper who's just feeling the game so well like he is right now.
He's in the flow state.
Ooh,
all right, so we've got a 4v5 now. XF just starting to get some good picks where we're opening up some space to see if they can attack a site again. They've all grouped up, holding their zones. I think they're looking for a second pick just to get that extra bit of confidence. They're moving on to A. We've got one in the White House. As 3 more roll up to the back of A, well, the calls come out. This is a lot of pressure on Pridex here. Do they rotate heavy or do they? Yep, it looks like they're gonna work out that they need to rotate heavy as Omagata moves around the back there, learning that there is no more XF in their spawn area. All 5 are now on A. The bomb is going down, and it is going to be a retake for a Pridex Ivory.
Yeah, we'll slide down on the side here. He's not going to be able to find the kill, and it's going to be XF now completely wiping the floor with Pridex Ivory. And what a turnaround. As soon as we're able to shut down this momentum from Pridex Ivory, XF are able to jump in. Now they're the ones taking the quick match. Now they're the ones beginning to rack up the points. And if they can continue to hold on to this particular momentum, maybe we can see them actually going for a double round. We do have the grenades out once again. We've swapped sides. We do have XF now in defense. Pridex Ivory need to try their hand at the attack.
Yeah, and they're going heavy onto A. Real quick rush. It is 1v5 on this rush. The calls are got to come out for the rotate. There's still players on B from XF. This is going to be a really tough position for Josh the Pro, who can only do so much delaying action to let his team catch up to him. It is still 5-5 though, so there's one first goes down on XF, giving some comfort to Pridex. But the rotate's coming in behind. People are picking up 2 there. Oh, sorry, supported by Manda. This is a really well played rush by Pridex, but XF, just stalling them.
I think a lot does come down to Josh the Pro. I mean, it felt like there were so many members there for Pridex Ivory previously when they jumped onto it, but that bomb did not go down. And you said, hey, it's up to Josh the Pro. He needs to delay, and he did. That bought enough time for the rest of XF to come in for a heavy rotation. And then because Pridex Ivory was still too busy trying to deal with Josh the Pro, they weren't in position, they weren't prepared, and that quick swap ended up catching them off guard. And now XF have managed to come in and even up the game at 3-3.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think I think it's a really good play by Pridex to just go for a hard rush at first, but now we're starting to see them take their time and go for a pick here, and they're gonna. I would hazard to say they're leaning on Omblingata here for a quick pick, and what we're watching here is him just trying to work a quick angles. Can he grab someone who's holding a standard position and just open up some space while the other 4 are set up in a defense pattern? And he does. There's that first pick. You're just walking right into him. At that point, and that's going to give them some tactical advantage now to say, okay, we got one. It is in mid there. Oh, he almost got a second. That was a dangerous trade-off there. Now Pridex can have a call. There's it's 2-2 either side, so they can just weigh heavily on one. We do see a bit of a scout action here from Kane, who's going down to see what B's looking like and see if he can feel out what the pressure's like there. While Omagata is still trying to get a pick on it looks like Depressed down in the middle there, who's sitting in 10.
Time is counting down for the time being. I mean, 50 seconds now.
And here it is. So that scout action from Ryan, they're going for a call on B, but it's not a good scout. He gets fragged in the back by Mando, who caught him out from behind that crate there. Well played by Manda, and unfortunate for Kyan. But they're going to stick to it. The time is on, like you said, the clock's ticking. They have to stick to it. Trades go back quick. It's 3-2. Pridex winning out in favor there, capturing B. But is it enough for them to get the plant down comfortably?
Wait and see. We do have a sniper on the side as well. They slide on through, which means the shots aren't being taken. As you can see, there is going to be able to find the peak in the end, and the members of XF now beginning to drop like flies. It's really going to be here on Piplup now to get in, but the bomb has officially been planted. Let's see if they can actually get around to the side. He's going to be throwing out a few things. Actually, probably doesn't go for it in the end. We'll use the smoke here just to get a little bit of extra control around the map. And as you can see, he's trying to jump in. Sorry, before that wasn't the plan. It was just a fake out. See if they can actually flush out some of the players. Piplup gets one, though. Brings it down to a 2-on-1. And as we can see here, now that bomb has to be planted as we go into 9 seconds.
Absolutely. Piplup, oh, he almost got that one on Dominic, but that crossfire was his undoing. Piplup did so much work there just to open up that space. And, you can see the fight is in XF right now. They are really here to fight for it and not just settle. Although, it is a 4-3 marker, there is going to be that moment where either we're going to see Pridex get onto the fifth marker, and then that's a lot of pressure on XF. But if XF can even this out of 4-4, we might see a bit more of time, a bit more fight in them as they go forward.
We see most of the members making their way towards A here for Pridex Ivory. A few members sitting on the flanks just to find the other peak positions, most likely Oblongata. One of the members have dropped for Pridex Ivory, has been returned for XF as well. Now continuing to go, looking for the plant now to see if they can actually flush out some of the members here for XF, but no one takes the bait.
I mean, if I was playing on XF shoes, I'd be terrified to peek any line, especially if the moment I see Oblongata on the screen, I just feel the pressure. Double frag there by Kyan, pinning out those 2 XF players out of, he tried to break into White Warehouse there. That is such a punishing blow for XF, who are left down to a 1v3 situation. Missing that shot, Mugi's under a lot of pressure here. They know where he is now. It goes straight in the open, but Oblongata catches him out in the back. That was an aggressive choice to make there, to say, everyone knows where I am. I'm cornered. They're going to be rotating on me. I better just push. Unfortunate that it didn't work out.
Yeah, Mal, what's the decision-making with that one there to actually go for that aggressive play? Is it just the idea, fortune favors the bold, I need to get out there and make something happen?
Yeah, personally, I feel like it's just paranoia of the fact that they could be rotating. There's 3 of them, and he doesn't know what they're going to be doing.
Well, there's very quick kills here now. This might be the final round here on this map. Pridex Ivory going into it, 5 up to 3. This means they're on match point. XF need to hold on to the pressure if they want to actually even this up 1-1. So we can see now 4 members against 4 members from Pridex Ivory. Things slowing down a little bit here from Pridex Ivory. It seems that A is going to be the point there. Again, another good shot for Oblongata. This guy has just been leading on well, but there will be another trade-off here for XF, and it means we'll be evened up 3-on-3. 1 minute 20 to get the bomb plant. And XF now just continuing to hold, understanding that, hey, they want to try and land, obviously, on the A side. The bomb's there as well. Members have moved in, thanks to the cover of Oblongata, but Dominic has fallen down as well now for Pridex Ivory, and the bomb has managed to be planted as well. It's up now, XF with the advantage of the men, but the pressure is on. They need to get in.
Oh, both face check in White Warehouse and clear it out. That was good teamwork. That gives them a lot of tactical positioning by holding that White Warehouse. It's like a little fort, I like to think of right there on side A. Gives them a lot of options to choose from. And it means that if XF want to try and go for the defuse, they're going to have to clear out these 2 players. They can't have them in White Warehouse right now.
Just waiting to see here. I think
he's trying to get the angle. He gets dropped by, oh my god, unfortunate. It's down to Mugi. Mugi, unfortunate. This is a 1v2 situation. There's 20 seconds on the clock for the bomb. Can Mugi get through? I don't think so. I just feel like, he's feeling, you can see the way he's playing. He's playing overly cautious, and down he goes.
And Oblongata is, again, the one to find the kill. He's been the guy that's been basically shining this entire Search and Destroy, really showing us what he can do with that sniper rifle in hand. And it was absolutely a remarkable play all the way through. There's definitely times that Oblongata was taken down a peg, but you can see that the score is relatively illustrated the scenario. I mean, 16 kills, 700 points, roughly 700 points above the next closest on his team. Yep. That was definitely an impressive showing from Oblongata there. And this does mean that we have moved to Pridex Ivory being 2-0 up against XF. And I think all of it is very linchpin heavy on the fact that Oblongata was just controlling the points and making it very hard for XF to get in.
Yeah.
Mal, would you agree with that? Or is there another point that both me and Quan have missed.
Yeah, Pride X Ivory definitely was able to outplay XF quite a bit, as we did see it, what I think was 3-0 at one point. However, XF was eventually able to like get back on track, and they did snag a few rounds. However, they eventually got toppled once again by Pride, as they did switch up their playstyles to defeat Pride XF.
Yeah. No, fair enough in that sense. There's anything that you want to add to that one, Quan, before we do, begin to set up for the next map, which could possibly be the final one here?
Yeah, it could well be. Pride X are just playing consistently strong now. I'm actually really, really impressed by the effort they're putting in. Omagata was used like an absolute scalpel that whole game, and I think Pride X lent into it really well. He was just able to do so many quick scopes and just pick off players, and every time there was one or two down from Omagata, XF just fell apart. And you could see they were playing so cautiously. So hopefully that doesn't weigh on their mind as they come into the third map, because they've really got to play for this one. Otherwise, they're out, right? So
that's it.
They've got to step it up and say, we don't care how good Omagata is playing. We play just as good, and we're going to show everyone what we can do.
Well, it is going to be do or die for XF. It is their pick as well, I believe, and this is going to be the remaining map. Domination is going to be the next one coming up, and it's going to be on Takeoff. Now, Takeoff is something we've actually been seeing banned out most of the time throughout today. We have obviously seen it be played out throughout the tournament. Of course, it is an interesting spot. A lot of different areas and places to move throughout the map, of course, because you have a number of balcony spots and other entries. It's actually a relatively large map in terms of where you can do and what you can go. And of course, it being a domination means that you can find a lot of flanks to get through and obviously get onto the point using that zone control. When I saw the way Pride X Ivory were playing that search and destroy, zoning just seems to be the aim of the game for them now. And that's something that's going to be a lot for them to come into it. I believe the players are ready. Is there any thoughts before this next map?
Yeah, look, like you said, zone control is going to be really important, and Pride X Ivory are showing that they can do that, and put the pressure back onto XF. And I think unless XF can play really aggressive and take B and hold it, or do a flank move and grab C, they're going to be facing this awesome amount of pressure from Pride X, where the momentum's in favor of Pride X. It's 2-0. They're about to be kicked out of the finals, and with that in the back of your mind is a lot to contend with when it comes to matches like this.
Now, you're the one who's generally been the player more often for the Call of Duty Mobile. When these sort of situations begin to wear on your mind, what's the play? How do you reset that mentality for the players?
Well, I reckon what you want to do is you just want to forget about what's happened. You just want to focus on what is going to happen soon. You want to not exactly. I regret what I said about going back. You want to revise on what went wrong and do your best to try and adjust to that.
Well, speaking of things going wrong here, again, it seems that there's a very quick points being taken across here. A lot of members going down. They're trying to get up towards that balcony side here, but the frag's going down yet for any B takes on the side here. But Pride X Ivory are the ones first off the mark to get onto B. But I think there was a bit of a cheeky play there from XF. They're trying to get around to that A side to take it back. I think they were able to get it, but of course, Pride X Ivory are moving very quickly onto C, and they've managed to hold here. XF managing to get at least 2 of the points at this point and beginning to rack up those points.
Absolutely. We're seeing a real strong start from both teams here, but when it comes down to domination, C just falls into the favor of Pride X there as I speak, which is going to level out that point. But you really see if teams can just break out from this point, it's going to be the what sets the tone of the match, right? But both teams just all in on this, just fighting really hard, throwing all their bodies in the middle there for B.
Yeah, 2 for now at this point in time, and you can see that XF are trying to get in, but they're still unable to get there. Pride X Ivory beginning to recap on that point. Now we've got guns being shot, grenades being thrown, gravity spikes being as well, just to get some form of control on that point. But at least for the time being, Pride X still maintain control, now beginning to edge out a bit of a lead that was previously held by XF. And B still seems to be the aim of the game.
Yeah, and we just saw there was Depressed was just like firing pre-fire up the stairs there, and that's when you know you're on the back foot, because you're just hoping people walk into your shots. You're not confidently making a play there, and that's the mentality of XF right now. They're just desperately in the fight, and we're going to see that in their play. And if we notice a changing moment where they start to play a bit more confidently, that'll be the sign that shows that they might actually have a chance here. Even though they're 2 sites up, they're not picking up the frags to capitalize any points for holding those 2 sites right now. In fact, they're actually just giving them away to Pride X.
Well, speaking of which, perfect IQ.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect IQ just like basically holding it down there as well. But of course, that means that things might turn around even for Pride X. Ivory Havoc, though, going absolutely nuts, getting kill after kill. He's dropped down as well, but Cayenne will be able to take him out in the end. And as we can see here, Pride X Ivory trying to get in as well to take what looks to be 2 points at the same time. This is definitely going to be a bold play, but XF are trying to stop it for the time being. Maybe B will be dropping down, but still hasn't been able to find the complete control of the map just yet.
Absolutely. I mean, XF really went large there with a couple of players, just picking up some good frag combos there. Great Annihilator usage by Depressed here, just locking down B and keeping Pride X off it, not staying to like untick the control that Pride X has built up on the point, though, relying on his teammates and just pushing forward to keep fragging. But that might be their undoing, as no one is unticking B. It could just take a breath for them to capture it right now.
Well, we are moving close to that target round of several, that target number of 75 here. XF still in control. Pride X Ivory are yet to re-get a cap on that point, and XF are up. I mean, this domination round, of course, the second round can still come into play here as they're beginning to swap sides, and Pride X Ivory will now need to try and claw those points back, but things are looking good for XF. This might be the turnaround we're looking for, because it could be a reverse sweep if they do manage to take the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, it's very close. This is a good play by XF. They've come in knowing the situation and just saying, look, we're going to play hard, but Pride X is like a stone wall that XF is just crashing against, and it's not an easy force to move. I want to see XF just starting to really break away here, but right now it's neck and neck. And so it's any man's game right now. These frags are just trading back and forth. They're really playing consistently, against each other right now. Great positioning by Kane. Can he pick them off in that spawn? 2 down. He doesn't get the 3rd, but that was a great stalling. That gives a lot of opportunity for Pride X to capture B if they can capitalize on this.
Well, it is being cleaned up for the time being. B yet to go down at this point, and if it ends up being a long round where B is just under contention the entire time, no one's able to take it, XF should be able to pull out this map if they're just managing to hold the line for the time being. All they need to do is just not lose. Hey, that's a pretty simple task to really put into to it. So Sentry's come down, a number of things being played here, and we're really on a stalemate really at this moment in time for the map. But of course, advantage still to XF.
Yeah, it's a small one. A is going down to Pride X, who do convert that. This is going to be a really dangerous moment for XF now as they spawn in the middle, trying to spread to, do they take A, do they take C? It's going to be a tough decision for them to do, whilst Pride X can just close in and keep them compressed in the middle. The scores are going to level out pretty close now, whilst we watch those frags starting to drop pretty fast.
Well, you can see XF now fighting to stay alive again. This is 2-0 the way of Pride X Ivory. If they go down, that's it. They're out of the tournament. There is no more left for them to be played, and we can move on to Sunday without an XF in the competition. So everything now is do or die. Pride X Ivory, of course, do want to move on to that next round, and I'm quite happy to just end things here, chill out a little bit, sit back and relax. So things are all going to be coming down to the wire. It's finally beginning to push away now for Pride X Ivory, who have overtaken XF here and pushing them towards being pushed towards the point of knocking them out.
As you say that, XF just takes C, and that just levels it out straight away. Aggressive play by XF to do that. They also had a player work A, so that would have just put Pride X on a bit of an odd footing there. Pride X are trying to take C at the moment, but this is a real tight game. Teeth, nails, and kitchen sinks and everything have been thrown.
Man, look, I would happily take those kitchen sinks. I've got some renovations I need to do. But that being said, XF continuing to push up to this point now. Pride X Ivory don't want to give it to them. So you can see here now, they're beginning to find frags across the board. But see, now under contention, still has been able to be converted. Meanwhile, XF also working A at the same time. So even if there is a cap somewhere else, I think they might be able to return it back. That line is getting closer and closer in this domination as well. XF have managed to get everything across the line here now and beginning to sprint towards
Total
victory.
domination.
Oh, Pride X Ivory need to stop it now. They need to jump on. They managed to get A back and slow things down. They're also on the C and B. Are they able to turn this around with another 3 cap?
Potentially. I mean, that would be exciting to see, right? And that's what you want to watch in tournaments like this. There's just intense level of competition. And it's so close.
They're doing it.
Going down
So close.
For that. And it does. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's so close. Come on. Neck and neck. And that last point on the board, it's too late. Not enough happened. And it goes to XF. We are going to see a map number 4 between XF versus Pride X Ivory. That was a pretty strong showing there at the end from XF. They really found some rhythm and just wiped the floor to finish it off.
They warmed up slow. Look at Depressed here as well. Currently the score streak leader in that particular round, and this is exactly what XF needed to get some momentum back. Pride X Ivory, of course, still have that extra map up, but things start to feel a little bit better now for XF. Now that turnaround that came across from XV, that reset of mentality, like you said, Mal, it seems that they did manage to forget going forward those particular rounds. They're just going to play from behind. They don't need to care. Hesitation out the window now. Things looking up here. Mal, what do you think they're going to need to do to really turn this around?
Yeah, that was insanely close. Pride X was so close to capturing that B and C flag. However, they were barely able to clutch it up. However, the fact that they did was what gave them the win in that game. It was so close. I'm just blown away.
Yeah. Very remarkable play coming through XF under the pressure beforehand as well, which is pretty impressive in that sense. Kwan, is there any thoughts there for yourself before I throw us to a quick break?
Look, I think the Hardpoint that's coming up is going to be the most exciting map we've seen today. So I'm just ready for it. I'm on the edge of my seat. I can't wait.
Well, guys, will Pride X Ivory finally be able to close out the day, or will XF remain alive going into it? Guys, we're going to a quick break. Please do not go anywhere. Welcome back to Activision's Call of Duty Mobile Community Challenge presented by AEL. We just saw XF finally manage to come back against Pride X Ivory here, and things are really beginning to heat right on up. I'm really excited to see how this plays around. Will Pride be able to close it out, or will XF be able to close this out to a 2-2 and bring it down to that final map 5? Now, Kwan, I want to hear from you from this case. I mean, you were talking about how exciting it was to see that final closing round out. This is exactly what we're here for.
I'm here for this. This is Hardpoint on Hackney Yard. Like, this is going to be, from what we just saw on Domination, There was so much fragging. They were just throwing everything at each other. And it's almost like there was no real strategy on either side. It was just go to the point, frag them, tell us if you've got it, we'll come support if I spawn in the zone. And so what we're going to see is Hackney has a similar kind of flow where it's very, very, very much about if you can get some good frag streaks going up, you're going to open up a lot of opportunity for your team. And then it's also Hardpoint. So, we're going to see some good rotates, some good captures. And I really think the momentum from XF is here, and now it's just going to be like two really happy, solid teams just taking each other on.
Yeah, wasting no time as we jump straight into the action. Both these teams rushing to get onto that point. Now, as you can see here, XF seem to be pushing Pride X Ivory back, but it's Pride X Ivory who managed to jump onto the point instead, and he's being changed around. What do XF need to do to slow down this advance?
Right now, they just need to play as a team. Use the numbers to their advantage. So forcing 1v2 gunfight situations is probably the best idea for them, and just playing solid OBJ.
Oh, Josh the Pro locking this down.
Yeah, he's absolutely going insane at this moment in time. Really tucked away underneath this warehouse point, but a nice slide in from Obligado. He manages to get 3 members with that ASL valve. Yeah, things are just going crazy here. That's exactly what Pride X Ivory needed to do just to get themselves back on the board.
Absolutely. I mean, look, that's just the kind of neck and neck kind of play we're going to see on Hackney Out, because all the hard points are in these super tight, constrictive spaces. And so, anyone with a good SMG is just going to wipe the floor. And that's what we're seeing. Everybody's got their Fenix out. They've got Bisons. It's just a real tight zone to be playing for. But XF, they're breaking away. They're almost double the points of Pride X Ivory. And this is going to maybe start speaking to a 5th map. They're already on the next hard point as well. So they've got a double frag by Piplup there to lock it down. And he's got a HMG out. He's really ready to just spray down hard. And this is a really good play by XF. They've got that second hard point. They're almost triple the points of Pride X Ivory now already. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Pride X Ivory.
Well, Perfect IQ manages to get a few frags off the back of this and slide in to get something back from Pride X Ivory. But of course, we only got 33 seconds left on that point for the time being. XF still managing to hold on. They were slow to start, but damn, do they seem to be finishing strong. And with XF now beginning to hit us, we might go to that game 5 as well. This hard point is getting neck to neck. As we can see here now, Kayan is jumping in as well just to hold the point for the time being. Finally, Pride X Ivory are beginning to get some points on the board.
Yeah, I'm loving these quick double frags by both Josh the Pro and the other guy on Friday. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Perfect IQ, our favorite player with the biggest brain.
They're blowing you away right now. They've taken the words from you at the moment, Kwan. But Obligado once again finding some extra kills on the side here. XF. We're beginning to move around to the next set of that. Pride X Ivory trying to jump in. It will be Pride X Ivory first onto the point here. Perfect IQ managing to hold it down while still getting some shots as well, but will be taken down in the end by Josh the Pro. Actually, no, by Manda. Now, as time is continuing to push forward, they still need to get themselves onto the point. And even though XF are getting the frags, objective is the name of the game. And finally, they get themselves onto the board.
These trades, Josh the Pro just trading. Every time one of his teammates go down, he just picks up one for the team. The other thing I want to highlight is every time we see Perfect IQ, just take note of his gravity sticks, or I like to call them
earthquake.
I can't wait to see him use them. He is holding them off for a moment to just jump into a hard point where XF's just piled in and just blow them away. So I'm looking for that moment. It's going to come.
Very good trades there as well. I mean, it is a bit of a suicide mission every single time there. Just the Pro jumps in straight away. Again, that hesitation just seems to not be present with this player. As you can see, he's beginning to make move arounds as well. We do have the next point opening up in 5 seconds. Pride X Ivory are in position. XF need to get there. They're holding the lead for the time being, but now the points are beginning to push into Pride X's pockets. And it seems like now they are able to hold it for the time being, but XF have made another push back. They've managed to get in, and now it's them beginning to rack up the points. Never mind, Pride X Ivory back on the board.
Absolutely. And look at this. We're really seeing Pride X just consistently return fire and take all these, they've just held these last few hard points consistently. It is really closed the gap. They're taking the lead now. They might actually start to break away convincingly if we don't see XF just step up to the plate. As they trade the hard point, they do. Here they are. They're on the hot plate. Everyone's in the kitchen now.
This is the ebb and flow. This tug of war just seems to be epic between both these teams. They're literally neck to neck. As soon as one person grabs it, they only hold it for 10 seconds, and immediately the other team gets it as well.
Steps back, allowing for the rest of XF to rotate in before he comes back into contested side, and they get it. They take the hard point. But now they've got a problem. All of XF are sitting in this hard point. There's 3 more seconds on it. They've got to move to the next one, and Pydex are already there. So now they've got this challenge of how do we capture the next one?
Yeah, presence of mind here available for XF. For Pydex Ivory just using the fact that they've got that ability to make the move. Well, you've cleaned us out, that's fine. Next point has come into play here, but XF very quickly are jumping back onto it as well. It is going to be a deep contestation here. Pydex Ivory beginning to edge out those points once again, but you can see XF seem to have the strategies in place. This is a completely different team that we saw at the start of the day.
Absolutely, and I'm loving it. I'm all here for it. Pydex, though, having this site locked down, it is their hard point. We're not going to see XF really get anything meaningful out of this one. I think the next hard point is the decider. That's going to be the one that tells us who wins this, and I want to see XF all over it like a bunch of angry bees.
Well, Manda did jump in there just to clean out a little bit, but still to no avail. Pydex holding strong in its entrenched position. 15 seconds left now on the clock on this particular hard point. As you can see, it is being held down by KN as well. Annihilator has popped up here for good measure as well. Starting to get a few kills on the side of it. Missing a little bit on the side there, but in the end, it's not going to matter. Another kill coming on down. Wow, KN absolutely cleaning up with this Annihilator. This could be the nail in the coffin now for XF.
Well, look, it's all about this next hard point, right? If Pydex hold it, it's their map. If XF can get in and just get some points on the board, then it puts up another hard point to let us see the decider. But it's not looking good for XF right now. There's so much contention going on. Both teams are quite spread out, not grouped up. We are starting to see Pydex stack up, and it might go in their favor. And it is this great plays by Domination. Oh, he couldn't lock it down. He got one, almost had the second. And now we're seeing a Goliath roll in from Pydex, who are saying, this is it. This is over. We want the last bunch of points. I'm just going to wipe you guys out.
What a way to finish up as well. They did it! They've managed to do it. I was saying, like, look, I was sitting there going, like, they've managed to finish up. There's no way they're cleaning out the Goliath. And sure enough, XF do. But once again, Pydex are back onto the point again. And I think that was it. They used up all of their power to make the finish happen here. And Pydex Ivory in control. XF still fighting strong. They get it back. They're holding on.
3 more points on the board. 5 seconds here. They're going to hold this one out. But it's all about the next hard point, guys. You've got to get moving. There's 3 points on the board. You have no time to muck around on this one. And Pydex are already in the hard point with 1 player. And XF clear out. They're clearing it out. They've got the whole squad on it.
They managed to hold it.
Is this it? Is this it? This could be XF winning the map if they can hold this and not trade it off at all. They just not even for 1 second, and it's too late. They've traded it off. Oh my god! Work it on now. Through routine, and it's done. It goes to Pydex Ivory 3-1. Congratulations.
Oh my god, even the kitchen sink, somehow they managed to produce 2 kitchen sinks in that round. I feel like everything was thrown there. Somehow there was a second kitchen underneath the basement where they ripped out that sink to throw it on through. These players, these teams were throwing everything that they could. Oblongata once again absolutely shining here for Pydex Ivory, doing so well in the previous Search and Destroy round, and now this time being the kill leader as well. You can really see why this team from Pydex Ivory were pulling out all the stops, and I love how much Josh the Pro put on the line as well in those final rounds. XF, that was an extremely valiant effort, but in the end, Pydex Ivory will be the team to survive and go that little bit further.
Yeah, Oblongata with the sickest skins and the sickest frag counts, right? Maybe that was all the difference. Oblongata just did so well in 2 maps there for Pydex. So congratulations to all players. So well performed at the end there. Thank you, XF and Pydex, for that match. That was such a pleasure to watch. I don't even know where to go from there. That was just like Pydex showed they have something special under the hood. And if I was in the position of IFM or Mindfreak, I'd be questioning, okay, what's going to happen? I mean, yes, Mindfreak put them down into the lower bracket in that first match that we watched. But when Pydex is warmed up like that and ready to roll, they have something going on. And XF gave IFM a bit of a run for their money. So maybe Pydex has got something there that IFM should be worrying about.
Yeah, a little bit of rocket fuel has been mixed into whatever is powering that motor, and I really would love to see that throughout the rest of the tournament going forward. Mal, I really want to touch on the use of their score streaks towards the very end there. The teams were just so on point towards it in order to clean out those points and maintain control. Really good communication. What's your thoughts on that final bit there, that final push?
Well, a bit earlier to the final push, I just want to point out something that I did realize. It was on the hardpoint at the very back, which was the one before the one that was deciding that went to 147. I saw a 5-man push from XF onto the hardpoint. However, Kyan, he knew they were coming, so he pulled out his Annihilator, and he got I think 4 of them with his Annihilator, with his teammate picking up the last kill. So he just saw that rush, and he just shut it down so easily.
Well, XF, you may be bowing out, but at least you'll be bowing out valiantly and graciously, and we really appreciate the show that you put on for us there. That does mean that tomorrow we will be having the final 3 teams, which of course is going to be Pride X Ivory, Mindfreak, and IFM continuing to battle it out. I am pretty happy with everything here. Again, a massive thank you to Activision for putting on this tournament, and again to AEL for letting us present it as well. Kwan, before I close this out, have you got any final thoughts for the rest of the day?
Yeah, I'm excited. I've seen season 1, 2, right? And thank you so much for joining us, Mendrix, for season 3. You know, what we're watching here is progression of player skill. And that's, for me, I'm a freaking big fan of that, right? You know, season 1 and 2, it was like, okay, like, you know, people are playing, but it's such a big skill gap. And after watching that, we're starting to see those skill gaps just constantly close. And it's just getting me so hyped up and excited for this community, for what's happening in the game as well, and for the competitive field. And as we go into the finals day tomorrow, I can't wait to just see how everyone, you know, steps up. You know, it's big money time, right? Like, yes, XF has dropped off now, but you know, unfortunately, you know, they still get prize money and they're out. But for Pride X Ivory, IFM, and Mindfreak, these are the big pockets. That's first place, second place, and third place that they're worrying about. And I really hope overnight that all these teams, especially teams like Pride X, are sitting there going, we're going to practice, we're going to strat, we're going to think about how we come in tomorrow to just wow everybody. And I like the upset. I'm an underdog fan. If Pride X can just ride up this wave of success, you know, and take out some good maps, maybe even if they get to second place and upset IFM, that's going to excite me, and I am just here for it.
Well, speaking of tomorrow, we do have the brackets ready and available, so let's bring that up so we can see what's going to be happening. As you can see, Pride X Ivory is going to be waiting in wing to see the result of Mindfreak up against IFM. They will then play it out in the final bracket to see who makes it through to the grand final, and this is all going to be played out tomorrow at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So, guys, with that being said, and without any further ado, really thank you so much for watching the entire show. A big thank you to production, Kwan, Activision, Mao as well. Believe me, it's the real Mao. Guys, I know you said I needed to get some sleep, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll see you guys tomorrow.